you think you're going to pick up with that extra effort? I think I can get an extra 5 to 10. What if I give you 15 to 20? Can you pay me more?
Jeff Smith teaches on the sliding scale.
Those Weekend Golf Guys, the podcast, part of the Believe Network. Just search BLEAV on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket, getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
And we are coming to you live from Hi Corbett Field, Arizona baseball, back on the homestead to open up another 4-game homestand. Non-conference play tonight. Back to Pac-12 conference play on the weekend. The Grand Canyon Antelopes are in town tonight for this non-conference game as the Wildcats look to get back on the winning track after losing 2 in a row to finish out their series this past weekend in Seattle, Washington against the Washington Huskies. Welcome to DK on the Sports Tip. I'm David Kelly. The number to get in on the program today is, as always, 520-848-1290. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. You can email the show. Our email is studio@wildcatsradio1290.com. That's studio@wildcatsradio1290.com to email the program. You can follow us. The show is streaming live to you right now on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube at Wildcats Radio 1290, and on Twitter at Wildcats 1290. We'll be out here at Hi Corbett Field today. We'll also be back Friday for the opening of the weekend series against the Stanford Cardinals. So a lot of baseball with you for this week. Also, the ladies are in action tonight. Arizona softball is playing at Hillenbrand Stadium and what will be their final regular season game against they're also playing the Grand Canyon Antelopes. So I wonder if they're taking one bus up here or two are the Antelopes, as both of their Diamond teams are up here or down here, or actually it is up here since we are north in elevation of Phoenix, higher than Phoenix. So those two teams will come in here to play the Wildcats on both the softball and the baseball diamonds tonight. Arizona comes in ranked number 21 in the country. They are 26-16. Grand Canyon is 25-18. The Wildcats, again, looking to return to the win column against the Antelopes as well, as they dropped the most recent meeting to Grand Canyon earlier this month. That was up in Phoenix. The two programs have split the first 2 games of this season series, with the home teams winning both. A 3-game non-conference series, with each of the games being single games. So this will be the 3rd time that these two teams have played this season. Arizona owns the nation's 5th best team ERA. They sit atop the Pac-12 standings as they take this break from conference play, currently tied with the Utah Utes at the top of the conference. This will also be a Latin promotional night out here at the ballpark. It'll get going a little bit after 6 o'clock, 6:05 scheduled first pitch. Raul Garza is going to be on the mound tonight for the Wildcats, 0-2 with an 8.71 earned run average. He'll be opposed by Ben Smith for GCU. Ben Smith enters at 1-2 with a 5.57 earned run average. It is hot out here tonight, so if you're coming, hopefully it'll cool down and become one of those nice nights that we've been having here. But at the moment, temperatures in the low 90s out here as the teams get set to go through their warm-ups here at Hi Corbett Field. A lot in store for you on this particular show. We are going to chat. We're going to obviously talk a lot of baseball. You'll hear from Chip Hale, the head coach of the Arizona Wildcats. He is in his third season, helming this crew, looking to make a third straight NCAA tournament, and the Wildcats are on point to do just that. Also, Dawson Netz. You'll hear from Dawson Netz today. He is a relief pitcher in his fifth year here at the University of Arizona. His first season with the Wildcats was the COVID-shortened season of 2020. Dawson Netz, the older brother of Devin Netz, who pitches for Arizona softball. We'll hear from him, as well as Toby DeMello will join us. He is one of the assistant coaches on this U of A baseball team. So we will chat with those three gentlemen and let you hear what they have to say about this team that is coming off, again, an 11-game conference winning streak. Also, we'll dive into potential, if we have some time, we'll let you hear from Jacome. He was drafted over the weekend by the San Francisco 49ers, spoke to the members of the media after being selected in the fourth round on Saturday. We did not get to that interview yesterday. We'll see if we can get to that interview for you today, as also potentially Roberto Miranda from this current Arizona Wildcats football team. Tight end, came onto the scene last year. Had a great spring camp as he begins to try to grow his role with the departure of Tanner McLaughlin. It'll be interesting to see who that primary tight end becomes with McLaughlin now a Cincinnati Bengal. Could be Keon Burnett, the young sophomore. We're really now going on his redshirt sophomore season out of Servite High School in Southern California, the same school that produced our quarterback in Noah Fafita and outstanding middle linebacker in Jacob Manu, as well as wide receiver Tetero McMillan. We'll see if Keon maybe is the guy that steps in to that tight end role, or could it be an older player like Roberto Miranda, who is from Germany, grew up playing a lot of soccer, but then happened upon this game known as American football. And you'll hear from Roberto and get his thoughts on how he found this game and how it brought him here to the United States. I am out at Hi Corbett Field. J.W. Madden is back in studio. J-Dub, a good afternoon to you. It's as we get down to the final stages of this conference season, really this baseball season as a whole for the Arizona Wildcats. It is starting to get tight with the two losses that the Wildcats suffered last weekend up in Seattle. They are currently tied with the Utah Utes for first place, and Stanford obviously still on the ledger here. That'll be this weekend. The Stanford Cardinal will come to town, but guess who the final two opponents are in the conference? You've got the Utah Utes. You'll have to go on the road to play them. That'll be next weekend. And then you'll have to come home and take on Oregon State. So the last really 9 games in conference play are going to be as exciting as you can get to try to decide if this Arizona team can win this conference.
Yeah, Utes 14-4 in conference, and the Beavers 12-8. We know all about the one-run losses early in the season, DK. Seems like this last weekend, the series, those last 2 games got away with them, went the other direction with that trend. But, hey, you win 11 games in a row, was it, in conference? I think, you're bound to drop one eventually. I just really like the way Arizona's playing. And a couple of close losses like that, I don't think it's anything to be worried about.
The pitcher of the week this week in the Pac-12 Conference, a name that you might recognize, Aiden May, a transfer out of the University of Arizona, was your pitcher of the week this week as he was nails for Oregon State over the weekend and helping them to get a series win over their rivals, the Oregon Ducks. So Aiden May continuing to go up and continuing to pitch well. That was a tough loss when he left after Jay Johnson's departure from this program. But dominant over the weekend, 8 shutout innings, allowed just 1 hit, had 14 strikeouts in a 2-0 win over the Oregon Ducks. Career high were those 14 strikeouts. Allowed just the 1 hit. It was a 5th inning infield single. The 8 innings also a career high for Aiden May. Aiden May, who also not only played for the Arizona Wildcats, but also played at Pima College. So made a couple of stops here on the college scene here in Tucson. So Aiden May, congratulations to him. You are Pac-12 Player of the Week. And the awards continue to escape the Arizona Wildcats, as Aiden May was your pitcher of the week, I should say, and Ryan Campos from Arizona State was the Pac-12 Player.
At least it wasn't somebody
week.
from Cal.
Exactly. At least it was not somebody from California. But again, it's a tight race right now. Utah 14-7, Arizona 14-7, sitting atop with a 1.5 lead over Oregon State at 12-8. And again, those are 2 of the final 3 opponents that the Wildcats will have to face. The Beavers, fortunately, they'll get them here. Oregon is 12-9. They're 2 games behind the Utes and the Wildcats. USC at 11-9, 2.5 games back. Stanford will come in here 3 games behind at 11-10. Cal, Arizona State, Washington State, UCLA. Surprisingly, when's the last time you saw the Bruins at the bottom of Pac-12 baseball?
Yeah,
that is something that does not happen very much. And again, it's one of those things that baseball is kind of a weird little thing in terms of how these rosters turn over and being able to stay consistently at the top of the Pac-12 conference. It's been a very, very difficult deal to do. Not a lot of schools have done it. Oregon State seems to have been the most consistent team in staying maybe in that top 4. But just a few years ago, UCLA was the best team in this conference, and now they're at the bottom of it. So you just never know these days, especially in college baseball, when you're only dealing with, I think it's like 11.5 to 12 scholarships for your entire roster, and having to deal with that now in an era of NIL becomes even more difficult for these baseball coaches.
And you're talking a lot about how Arizona struggled on the Friday-Saturday round of a series, would come back on Sunday and put a lot of runs on the board due to the fact that number 1s and number 2s, DK, they're number 1s and number 2s for a reason, right? Those guys are hard to get hits off of. A team like UCLA, all it takes is 1 or 2 good pitchers, right, at the top of your pitching staff to be able to be successful. Looking at the standings, really tight at the top, also really tight at the bottom, right? Only 9 teams make it in. Is that correct?
For the tournaments.
The Pac-12 baseball tournament.
I'm not sure exactly what the total is. I think you're correct on that.
I don't think it's a full. I don't think it's a full slate. So a couple teams are going to get left out in the final Pac-12 baseball postseason tournament.
Yeah,
it hasn't been around for that long, but there is a bit of there's some jockeying going on there at the bottom as well.
And to think that one of those teams could be UCLA,
exactly,
is crazy to think about. Crazy to think about that the Bruins might not be playing in Scottsdale here coming up in a couple of weeks. That's crazy to think about for sure. And that is the Pac-12 tournament for the second straight year will be held in Scottsdale. And that'll be at the end of the month of May as we begin to turn the clock this last day of April. And with May comes the high school baseball and softball state tournaments, which are in full swing. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well today. Update you on where some of our teams from Southern Arizona are in terms of trying to win state titles. Man, it comes on you quick. We've been a little bit lax, and I apologize. We haven't gotten out many Prep Prince and Prep Princesses awards this spring. I'll see if I can maybe hand out 1 or 2 of those this week before these seasons end out. But fun time of year also on the diamond for our high schoolers as they try to win state championships and continue the reigns of some of these teams like the South Point Catholic Lancer softball team, which has been a dominant one as they'll try to win another title, and then the Canyon Del Oro baseball basketball team is back in it as well as they try to repeat in Conference 4A on the baseball side. So we'll get you all up to date on all of those happenings as well as we go forward from Hi Corbett Field here today. All right, bringing in the third member of our program. Her name is Cricket. And Cricket, we were talking about your schooling yesterday and how you're kind of coming to the end of the semester.
Yes.
You're not taking summer school, correct? We established that, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, I think the question was, what are you doing this weekend? Studying, because I don't want to do summer school.
Exactly, right?
You got to pass now in order not to have to go to summer school. Did either the two of you ever have to do summer school growing up?
No, I don't think I ever did have to come back because I failed a class or something. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I never had to.
All right. Well, did you have friends that had to do that? I'm with you guys. I never had to do summer school growing up.
I don't know. I mean, my schools are pretty small growing up in where I was, and so I don't remember.
And your friends were all pretty smart.
No, it's not even that. It's just I don't even know if there was, because if you have a school of 2,000 or 3,000 kids, then you got to have students and teachers come back during the summer. But if your student body is significantly less than that, I don't even know if they could pay teachers to come back. I don't remember, DK. I don't remember having any friends. I loved, there was a movie from the 80s called Summer School, which is all about that. And I remember thinking to myself, like, that seems like a good time. It was like a summer. Do you remember that movie?
I don't.
It was on the beach. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Summer school, it wasn't a thing that I ever was a part of now.
I took summer school once because I wanted to. I didn't have to. I took chemistry.
To get ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took chemistry and it was horrible. I really wish I understood it. It was just, and that's a rough class to take, condensed quickly in the summer.
Yeah, summer school, that was with Mark Harmon. Kirstie Alley was in it. Courtney Thorne-Smith.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the one.
Some great actors and actresses.
Yeah, it was like young Mark Harmon. It was like
90s.
young Mark Harmon when he was in his mid-20s type of thing. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah,
I got to see that.
Back when he was a good-looking guy.
Yep.
So, Cricket, then, with no summer school on the horizon, then, are you, what are your summer plans? Do you have summer plans all laid out at this point?
I don't really ever have much going on, just work.
Just work.
School. I usually just say work and school,
So then you're going to take, so then what's the school in the summer if you're not taking?
Well, that's what I have no idea what I'm going to do because I'm usually always doing work and school.
Work and school. I see what you're saying. Okay.
I might study Spanish.
Find a motorcycle cross-country trip or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not going to, you got to get out of town. We got to get you on vacation. To like what would be a relaxing place that Cricket would want to go? Where would you want to go and relax?
I like Bisbee.
Bisbee?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Anywhere there's dogs.
Have they opened up the downtown yet again after the fire? Or do we know?
I don't know. Good question.
Yeah, don't know.
All right. Well, we'll see if we can make sure that we get you a trip to Bisbee. Get you some time off. I'll talk to Kenny Kowalczyk about that. I'll say, hey, Crickets needs some time. She wants to go down to Bisbee and relax and maybe take the underground train or something of that nature into a much cooler atmosphere to clear her brain. How about
that sounds nice. The way you made that sound good. Very good.
All right. Right now, though, she's got to make sure you get home every 20 minutes on the fives with the traffic and the weather.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collisions that are reported Thornydale near Lambert Lane, south of Lambert Lane on Thornydale. Also crashed Midtown at Speedway in Alvernon, possibly involving 3 vehicles. Speedway in Alvernon, and also reports that the traffic signals at that intersection flashing Alvernon and Speedway. And 58 and clear overnight, 90 and sunny tomorrow, and 92 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save money on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Again, that's Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
The very best in play-by-play is on Tucson's best sports station, Wildcats Radio 1290. This is the home of the Wildcats and NFL play-by-play. This is the one and only Wildcats Radio 1290. and the right medical care. You plan ahead for your kids' future and their education. That's all great, unless something unexpected.
Hey, DK.
Hold on.
Survive. That's why you need to call Cats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We are coming to you live from Hi Corbett Field, Arizona baseball tonight against Grand Canyon. You will hear it right here on Wildcats Radio 1290 with first pitch coming up at 6 o'clock, 6:05. Our coverage will begin at 5:50. And as I mentioned, also we've got Arizona softball tonight. They are home over at Hillenbrand Stadium against this same school, Grand Canyon. in the final regular season game for the ladies, and that will commence over there at, let's see, 7 o'clock. So that's a later start. 7 o'clock will be the start time on that game tonight. And then the Wildcats will have the weekend off before they begin Pac-12 conference play next Wednesday at Stanford to try to see if they can win the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. J-Dub, I'm not sure. Is that game on? Do we have that game on KTUC? Do you know tonight?
I'm actually efforting that right now, DK. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't believe that it is on KTUC tonight, but we'll update you on that as we head further here this evening from here. All right, Wildcats come in 26-16, 14-7 in conference play. Obviously, a non-conference game against GCU, the rubber match of the three-game series. Wildcats were won here back early in the season against Grand Canyon, and then Grand Canyon turning the tables and winning up in Phoenix. The two teams met for the first time back on March the 19th. That was a 6-4 victory here in Tucson, and then they played again on April the 16th in Phoenix, in which Grand Canyon won by a score of 5-4. So the rubber game here tonight. Let's hear from the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats, Chip Hale, who was asked about his fine second baseman Garen Caulfield and the impact that Garen has had on this team.
Well, it's just another coach on the field, number one. You know, he's been here for 3 years. He knows exactly what I want. He knows what Toby wants and the positioning, which is super important for us. And just sort of a steadying factor out there. And he's had a phenomenal year with the bat. You know, it was a tough year for him last year. He had great contact, rates and hit the ball hard, just couldn't find any hits. And then, kind of got out of the lineup and it was tough to get back in.
How helpful was he during the times early in the season when you were losing one-run games and maybe the younger players are getting frustrated not seeing how this is going?
Yeah, I would say that Garen, Emilio, and Dawson as the captains did an unbelievable job of just, keeping everybody as positive as we could and being honest. I mean, there was a lot of honesty that was shared with, especially Garen did a good job with that, just being, sort of setting guys straight. We want to be positive, but honesty is important too.
No one likes to go through a tough time, but as you said, he didn't get any breaks offensively last year, kind of lost his full-time job. How do you think that helped him in the long run?
Well, I don't know if it helped him. I think he went and had a really good summer in the Cape, hit the ball well and played well. It's a frustrating game already, and when you hit the ball hard and you don't get hits, it eats at you, and the frustration kind of got him at some point. So I don't know if it helped him, maybe made him a tougher ball player, made him a better person for it, and we hope it helps him for the rest of this year.
Do you think he has improved defensively?
Oh yeah, definitely. He's for me, if the ball's hit to Garen, it's an out for me.
Does this team continue to surprise you with what they're doing at the end of games, or is it kind of like status quo at this point?
No, it's every day surprises me because each game there's a feel to it, and I always, when I take the ball from the pitcher in the ninth inning, we change pitchers, or the eighth inning if we've given up the lead, I'll say, hey, don't worry, we'll hold them to this and we'll come back and win, and I mean that, and I feel like this group can do it. So it's amazing what they've done, and hopefully we can keep doing it.
What is Candiotti doing right now that's making him so successful?
Well, I think he just his pitch mix is so good. His slider is very hard to hit. His curveball's added a lot. I think that's the one pitch that Kevin and John added this fall and made him throw it a lot more. And I think he's way more comfortable throwing it. So there's two different breaks, and the hitters aren't able to sit on one pitch. But if his velocity's at 94, sometimes 95, that's a tough pitch to hit.
When you looked at the changes you wanted to make with the pitching staff and bringing Kevin in, and what you've seen to this point, what are some of the things you look at and say, yeah, that's what I was looking for, that's what I wanted?
Well, we made the change, and we went, nationwide search. And Kevin was a guy that we targeted and we wanted to get in here. And one of the reasons why was we felt like his pitching staffs were tough. Obviously, they threw a lot of breaking balls. He's good at teaching breaking balls. But you just watched how they did things. You watched social media, things that he posted, and the togetherness he got from that pitching staff. And that's the impressive thing about this group this year is from day one, they've truly believed in him.
Chip, a lot of teams use midweek games as opportunities to develop the depth in pitching. Because you guys switch guys around so much in relief appearances, You've been able to develop that on the weekends as well. Was that a strategy coming into the year, or is that just kind of how it's played out?
I think that, the midweek games are super important. You have to win them these days. The RPI is so important that we've gotten some Josh Morano some innings as a freshman. McKnight's got to pitch a little bit. We'll start Garazar tomorrow. He's been working super hard on his stuff, and he's a guy in the fall that was an impact guy for us, and just we haven't had a chance to get him in there enough. So hopefully tomorrow we'll see what we saw in the fall over in Las Cruces, and we can get him in the 27-man roster. But this is a hard roster to crack if you're a pitcher.
Is this the type of opportunity that you use, these late season midweek games? I know you got GCU next week as well. These late season midweek games to almost approach it like you would a game 4 of the Pac-12 tournament or something like that.
Well, yeah, and that's a great point. We have to at some point figure out when we get to the postseason who's going to be that 4th starter, on the weekend or wherever it is. And we feel like if we can get the 3 good starts from Kent, Candiotti, and Walty, then that enables us in games 4 and 5, if there's that many, we can use more of a bullpen tactic, which will be nice. But we have guys that can go, more than 1 inning, more than 2 innings in Zastro and Nets, and guys like that who've done it in the past. So we're trying to develop that. But again, these are important games. GCU is a tough opponent. We play ASU on the weekday, and then I saw what New Mexico State did here, so we have to be ready.
You alluded to Dawson being one of the 3 captains. What has he brought to the table with all of the experiences that he's had, different coaching staffs, going to the College World Series?
Yeah, I think those are it. I mean, all the different experiences are huge, and I just watched the guys on the bench and how good, and you talk about Dawson, but keeping the guys going. That was not a real good thing in my first 2 years. We had a hard time keeping the bench going. But if you listen to our bench this year, they're always into it. They have a lot of little deals they do, and they have fun, and Dawson's a big part of that.
Softball, that's good.
There's a little bit of that, but it's college baseball. It's best.
That is Chip Hale, the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats, talking about his squad, talking about one of his leaders in Dawson Nets, who you will hear from a little bit later, and Raul Garazar, who will start here tonight. Started last Wednesday against the New Mexico State Aggies over in Las Cruces. And again, this is likely going to be a bullpen-style game. Garazar went just 1 inning last week and had a walk, a hit, and a strikeout, faced 5 batters through 22 pitches. And then it was Bryce McKnight for an inning, Matthew Martinez for 2, Jaden Swanberg for 2, and Casey Hintz for 1. They only needed 6 innings of work in that particular ball game as they won by run rule 12-2. So they played just the 7 innings in that ball game last week in Las Cruces. So we'll see how long, maybe, or a little bit more of a leash that they potentially might give to Garazar here tonight in the start against Grand Canyon.
Got some good news, DK.
Yes. I think we're thinking along the same lines in terms of Arizona basketball.
No.
Oh.
I'm thinking more along the lines of Arizona softball. The Derek Palmer and Nate Dog Rady are doing the game tonight. So they will be doing that game starting at 7 on KTUC.
Outstanding. So we will have softball tonight. KTUC, so join us for that. Also, it is now official, J-Dub. Tommy Lloyd has a couple of transfers here at the University of Arizona on the men's basketball side. Trey Townsend, who we spoke a little bit about on Friday, is official now. He is signed on the dotted line. You know, with this program, we prefer to wait until guys are officially signed before we dig too deep into who they are, because, chances are you start talking about them and then they don't end up being here. Anyway, But Trey Townsend is here, played 4 years at Oakland, Michigan, was a part of that NCAA tournament team this past year that upset Kentucky in the first round and would take North Carolina State to overtime before falling to a Wolfpack team that obviously would go deep into the NCAA tournament. And then committing yesterday and signing today, Tobe Iwaku, who played 2 seasons at Tennessee, is now arriving. So a couple of big men to shore up the front court behind the expected starter in Moteas Krivas for Tommy Lloyd as he goes in and gets a couple of needed pieces for this team next season.
Yeah, and Coach Lloyd obviously really likes the 2 big lineup. He likes the high-low when he can get it going. I really like the addition of Trey Townsend. What I was going to say is we'll see how Vesar comes back, what he looks like. We'll see, obviously what Krivas looks like over the summer, what he's worked on. As far as Trey Townsend addition, as I said the other day, I really like his ability to get in the lane and do damage from, just off the block and at the elbow. He really is a catch and turn and face and triple threat type of guy, which is really what we talked about a lot last year when you attack that 2-3 zone. Having a guy who can flash to the free throw line extended, catch, face, and either draw attention from the defenders and find an open shooter in the corner, turn and face and knock down that 12-footer, or take a couple of dribbles hard to the basket. I saw Trey Townsend do that a lot against Kentucky. So against some really, really quality athletes, really like his addition. And definitely anytime you get any more front court depth, the better, DK, because as we know, it's a long basketball season and you're going to need as many bodies as possible out there. So yeah, really, really good news for Coach Lloyd.
Tobe Iwaku, 6'8", 250-pound forward, 69 games in 2 seasons with the Volunteers, averaged 4 points and 4 rebounds while shooting 59% from the floor, averaged just 12 minutes, so did not play a lot for that Tennessee squad that's been also very good for the last 2 years. But again, definitely a nice depth piece. We'll have to get some more information about him. He's out of Poughkeepsie, New York, played at Cardinal Hayes High School in the Bronx, was the New York Gatorade Player of the Year back in 2022 when he averaged 19 points and 14 rebounds as a high school senior. So a couple of signees for Tommy Lloyd's basketball team heading into 24-25. It's DK on the Sports Tip. Again, we're coming to you live from Hi Corbett Field, Arizona baseball here tonight against Grand Canyon. You heard from Chip Hale, the head coach. In the next hour, you're going to hear from Toby DeMello. He is one of the assistant coaches, his first year, in fact, as a paid assistant coach, as he spent 2 years as a volunteer assistant here on this team. You'll hear from him coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Also, we're going to update you on what's happening on the high school softball and baseball state tournament scenes. We've got some games going on tonight on the softball side here in Southern Arizona that'll be getting started here in about 20 minutes or so. So we'll update you on all of that here straight ahead. DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions that are reported Thornydale to the south of Lambert Lane, Speedway and Alvernon also reports that these signals are flashing at the intersection Alvernon and Speedway. Closure, Gates Pass Road closes tonight between Camino de Oeste and Kinney from 7 this evening until 5 tomorrow morning. 58 the low with clear skies, 90 and sunny tomorrow and 92 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered. Visit Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Do you need your home repiped? Having trouble with your water heater? Leaking toilet? Have you ever thought about an instant recorded seweroscopy? Then call Economy Plumbing Service at 885-3510. Because if water goes through it or to it, we do it. Economy Plumbing, 885-3510.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
And that's why Alaska vacations are gonna be so important.
Sorry I'm late.
Where have you been?
You're gonna love this.
Speak for yourself.
Make it quick. We have to remind people that getting an Alaska vacation right now means cool, comfortable air all summer.
Okay, so check this out.
Right, because when Alaskan AC Alaskifies, we do more than just tune up your AC.
Exactly. So my idea is...
We clean, test, tighten, and bring your AC back to the way it was when it was installed.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking.
People don't realize most of the repairs we do could have been prevented through our thorough Alaskification.
But
best part is... Alaska vacations come with a 1-year, no-breakdown guarantee.
But
a whole year of knowing your AC is healthy.
Okay.
And if it's time for a new AC, we built the Grizzly especially for Arizona summers.
I'm going to get the technicians ready to Alaskify the city.
But...
And I'll make sure the dispatchers are getting our people out fast.
But...
Cool idea, Gary.
Yeah, Gary. See ya.
Schedule at alaskanac.com.
Free tickets to a U of A baseball game? That's what Clipper Automotive is giving you a chance to win. Clipper Automotive is now a proud partner of Arizona Athletics and would like to give you the opportunity to win a pair of tickets to a University of Arizona baseball game this season. All you need to do is stop by the shop on Thorndale Road and put your information in the Enter to Win box. That's right, stop by to enter at Clipper Automotive. No purchase necessary. Clipper Automotive provides honest, reasonable, and stress-free automotive repair services and looks forward to servicing your vehicle.
Ready for a staycation? Hey guys, Taylor Swift here. We're ready. Are you? Keep listening for your chance to win one of 3 trips to see Taylor Swift on the Eras Tour this fall. Shake it out, shake it out. You and your bestie with Round Trip Air, a hotel room for tonight, and 2 tickets to the hottest tour on the planet. I'm having a blast on my tour, and I want to fly you out to join me. Your next chance to text a nationwide keyword happens soon. Welcome to the Eras Tour.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Are you afraid to open your investment portfolio statements when they come in the mail? This last year has brought its own unique set of trials and tribulations, but you don't have to face them alone. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee of Meridian Wealth Management. I've spent my career helping people navigate their financial wellness. Call me today at 719-1433. Let's open those envelopes together. We will make sure you're on the right track. Visit us online at meridianwealthllc.com for more information.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We're coming to you live from Hi Corbett Field here. It is Arizona baseball tonight against the Grand Canyon Antelopes with first pitch coming up after 6 o'clock. Also, we mentioned to you that Arizona softball is playing tonight as well against Grand Canyon. That'll be a 7 o'clock start. Well, Derek Palmer will have the call of that over on 1400 KTUC, Freedom 1400 coming up at 7 o'clock. Also, we've got a ton of high school softball and baseball happening as the state championships are underway. We want to let you know in this hour about what's happening on the softball side because those games begin this afternoon at 4 o'clock here at the top of the hour. So we're just going to go through all the different conferences and let you know who's playing and who's not. Starting in 6A, Red Mountain is the top seed. Sunnyside upset 5th seed Highland in the Blue Devils playoff opener. They're going to play Xavier Prep. That, however, will not be till tomorrow. Lauren Carbajal had 3 hits, including a homer and 3 RBIs in that game for Sunnyside, the upset over Highlands. So I think we'll give a Prep Princess Award out to Lauren Carbajal for her performance. Tucson High is going to play in an elimination game today at Cherry Field. That will get underway again at 4 o'clock, and that'll be against Gila Ridge. In 5A, Cienega beat Ironwood Ridge 8-0 in round 1. The 5th seed Bobcats will play at Willow Canyon this afternoon in the A bracket. Mountain View is alive in the B bracket. The Lions are on the road for a 4 o'clock game up in Phoenix against Scottsdale Chaparral. Desert Mountain is the number 1 seed in Conference 5A. In 4A, Eastmark is number 1. South Point Catholic comes in at number 4. The Lancer ladies will host Coconino today. In the 4A-B bracket, there are 3 local teams in action this afternoon. All of these games will begin at 4 p.m. 3rd seed Canyon del Oro will host Sahuarita. Seems like those 2 teams are always facing each other in the postseason. Number 7 seed Micah Mountain is on the road to number 2 seed Arcadia. Now down in 3A, the number 1 seed is Valley Christian. Their conference will play the quarterfinals on Wednesday night. 11th seed Tanque Verde beat Winslow in their opener, and they will travel to number 3 Snowflake. Empire also will play on Wednesday, and the 7th-seeded Ravens are at number 2 Bourgade Catholic. 2A conference also in the quarterfinals. Number 8 seed Santa Cruz Valley going to face a test in Phoenix on Wednesday against number 1 seed Baghdad. Baghdad beat Duncan in their opener 31-0. Wow.
Wow.
4th seed St. David. St. David is going to host San Manuel also on Wednesday, and 6th seed Desert Christian will travel to number 3 seed Williams. So that is a check of what is happening on the softball side. We'll get you your baseball update coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Last night in the NBA, another major star was sent home packing. The Lakers made it a game. It was a dogfight after they were able to avoid a sweep in Los Angeles on Saturday, winning Game 4 to force a Game 5 in Denver, and led for a large portion of this game. But it was tied late, and you don't want to be tied or down 1 or 2 in Denver when you got guys like Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic.
High right side is Jamal Murray, 9 on the shot clock. Denver looking for a game winner. Murray has it on the high right side. High pick from Jokic. Murray, jumper from 8. Got it again! 3.6 seconds left for the Lakers. LeBron over to Prince. Jumper's no good at the horn. And the LA Lakers can take that L on the way out. Along with that whistle, Denver takes care of La La Land. Might be the best win I've ever seen. The Los Angeles Lakers and their free throws can go back to La La Land.
That was the call, as you can imagine, on the Denver Nuggets radio network. Jason Kosmicki. Yeah, he's pretty animated in how he feels about the Los Angeles Lakers.
Well, come on. I mean, like, if you've been playing in the same division with the Lakers for 40-plus years, you're probably pretty sick of them winning.
Probably. They eliminated them in a sweep last year. They eliminate them in 5 games this year. 108-106. Jamal Murray making a habit now of game-winning baskets.
Yeah.
When that guy, it's funny. We talked all season long in the terms of Arizona and how they had so much trouble in those late-game situations because they didn't really seem to have a guy who you wanted to have the ball or who you could trust to get it done in those situations. Denver clearly has that guy.
2 guys, yeah, as you just said at the top. The thing about that ending was odd. First, I'll talk about the shot. 2 games ago in Game 3, he made his first ever game-winning shot at the buzzer. So Jamal Murray, very smooth. Everybody's familiar with his playoff, what he's done ever since he's gotten into the playoffs. His average goes way up. His percentages go way up. Jamal Murray is a great basketball player. Been often injured 3 or 4 years ago, but right now, the last 2 years, DK, when you have Jamal Murray on the perimeter and Nikola Jokic in the middle and on the perimeter as well, if we're being honest, that's that 1-2 punch. Everybody talks about these big threes people are putting together, but having two players who are more or less unguardable unless you send, multiple defenders at them from the perimeter and from the interior. We talked about the Suns' maybe issues being those three guys being very similar. Jamal Murray, man, that shot last night, DK, that was going left across the entire length of the court. He made 4 dribbles from one out of bounds to the other, fading and shooting as a right-handed player going left. That's such a difficult shot to make. But going back to the very, very end, after he made that shot, the Lakers had no timeouts.
Yeah.
And they had no timeouts because they had to challenge a play with about 3 minutes to go. They made the choice to challenge a foul by Anthony Davis, left them with no timeouts, so they had nothing. They couldn't do anything. LeBron got the ball, got trapped over on the sideline, had to give it up, and they didn't even really get a very good look at it. But what can you say about the Nuggets? I mean, to me, it's really all about what the Nuggets are doing right now. That's a very, very, very difficult team to match up with. And LeBron James himself, DK, said as much after the game. He was asked about how you put this kind of series into perspective. For a guy who's made 8 straight finals at one point in his career, going out early, not something he's accustomed to. This is how LeBron puts the series in perspective.
First of all, you tip your hat to them. Defending champions, super great team, super well coached, and you tip your hats. I mean, they made the plays down the stretch, to win this series, and so you get credit where credit is due. That's for sure.
Couldn't be any closer to when you just got off the floor, but have you given any initial thoughts of what comes next this summer for next season?
No, I just want to get home to the family, honestly. Start looking at the schedule. Obviously, I got, my son, one of my boys is just trying to decide if he's going to, enter the draft or go back to school. I got another kid that's playing AAU ball right now. My daughter's playing volleyball, and my wife is doing so many great things. So it's about family right now. And then in a couple months, I got to go to Vegas for training camp. So, I got to rest my body for USAB, but that's kind of the initial thoughts.
Brought in respect to your answer to Mike, I'm just curious if you could give us some sense of the things that you'll weigh as you go towards the decision for year 22 or beyond, and just maybe a thought on
how taxing it is to remain a professional basketball player at this level in year 21, age 39 years old?
I don't have an answer to your first question, to be honest. Haven't given it much thought. Obviously, at some point, I'll sit down with Rich, my agent, and sit down with my family and, see what's best, what's best for my career. So, we'll cross that when we need to. How taxing?
So, DK, apparently there's no news. I think a lot of people want to know what the future is for LeBron. Bronny James playing at USC. He's made it clear that he'd like to play a season in the NBA with his son before he retires. But as I said, I mean, for a guy, DK, who made 8 consecutive finals, getting on in years, but 40 minutes, for the old
44
man.
minutes.
There you go. So, I mean, it's not like he actually got injured a few times, stayed on the court. He's just such an Iron Man. That's why he is the leading scorer in the history of the NBA. You just can't get him out of there. And the real question is, how do you take that competitive drive out of someone who's done it for their entire life? Right? I mean, obviously this Lakers team was not. Yeah, they had some injuries as well. And obviously, we could talk a lot about what their coaching situation is going to be in the near future. But LeBron himself, I mean, he's been the man for so long. That's not going to change anytime soon. As far as his decision, I think people are just going to have to wait on that. One guy, DK, who's super impressed with Mr. James is Jamal Murray himself, who grew up as a huge, huge fan of Jamal Murray. He talked a little bit about playing against his idol.
And they were tough, man. They played a whole series. They played great. LeBron is such a beast, bro. I don't know how old he is, but to go play 44 minutes, man, and play really good, that just speaks a lot to his greatness, man.
Jamal, LeBron dunked on you the other day, and tonight you dunked on him. What would you say about going against one of the greats to ever play in this game?
I don't know where to start, man. I remember when I was a little kid and he was playing against Orlando and he was in Cleveland and I was wearing his jersey. My barber is my dad's best friend and he got me a jersey for my birthday or whatever, I forget. And I was trying to remember a time I could wear it. And I remember wearing the jersey while he was playing against Orlando, and he hit that shot with 1 second left. And I remember talking to my dad, like, I'm a little kid, so I don't know much. And I'm just like, there's no way they're gonna win. There's no way you're gonna win. And I just remember him catching and hitting it. And I just remember being out of breath. Like, I just got punched in the gut. Like, I didn't know how to react. He's been one of my favorite players from time. And just a pleasure to go against him, man. Like, he makes you think during the game, you know what I'm saying? He's still a physically dominant guy out there, but he makes you think the game and the reads and the passes, and his timing is great. He's super athletic on top of that, you know, so I mean, I don't know, you guys know LeBron, man. It's a pleasure to go against him. I know it's a lot of fun, obviously, to get the win too.
So what I heard there, DK, is a little baby Jamal Murray watched LeBron make a game winner in a Cleveland uniform, and that maybe led to his passion for the game of basketball, which led to him hitting 2 game winners against LeBron's Lakers.
Yeah, there's a lot of flowers being handed out in this postseason, whether it's Ant to KD, KD to Ant, and Jamal Murray to LeBron James. A lot of guys paying respects to a lot of the young guys paying respects to the older guys that are out of the postseason a little bit sooner than we would think. LeBron James, again, 44 minutes, had 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 11 assists. And we'll get more into this series as the Nuggets get ready to take on now the Minnesota Timberwolves and the importance of and we'll kind of touch on the 2 Wildcats, one who plays significantly, obviously, for the Denver Nuggets and Aaron Gordon, and one who does not play much at all in Zeke Naji, and kind of discuss maybe what their futures are moving forward as well. We are live. Go ahead, Jada.
Real quick, DK. LeBron James might have gotten knocked out of the playoffs, okay? But it wasn't because of his play. 57% from the field. He averaged 7 rebounds, 9 assists, and 28 points per game.
Yeah.
28 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds on 57% shooting from the field. That was LeBron James' stat line in this series versus Denver.
Yeah. Again, pretty impressive for a guy who's 39 years old. We can also discuss whether or not you think he's coming back, or is that it? Did we see LeBron James walk off for the final time last night in Denver, Colorado? 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We'll answer that question when we come back. It's DK on the Sports Tip, live here from Hi Corbett Field, getting you set for Arizona baseball against Grand Canyon, a game you'll hear tonight right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. I got J-Dub, I got Cricket, and Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions that are reported on Romero near Roger Romero, south of Roger Road, Thornydale, south of Lambert Lane on Thornydale, and Midtown Speedway in Alvernon. And also at Speedway in Alvernon reports of the traffic signals flashing at the intersection. And that's your traffic, your weather. 58 the overnight low, 90 sunny tomorrow, and 92 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Beyonce's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard.
Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Progressive presents 10 things on a plumber's to-do list that are harder than getting a small business insurance quote. Waking up for 5 a.m. plumbing disasters, finding out why water is pouring from the ceiling, replacing a pipe in a home from the 1800s, then dealing with invoices or your awkward apprentice or that really weird smell, and then there's breathing and eating and, of course, clogs. But the easiest thing on any small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you could save on the business insurance that's right for you. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
We get you so close to McHale, it sounds like the Arizona Pep Band is riding in your back seat.
What the hell is going on?
This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Truck season. It all starts with a few simple rules. Rule number 1, buy a truck from O'Reilly Chevrolet during truck season. Rule number 2, who cares? Truck drivers are notorious for breaking the rules. Help us celebrate our 100-year anniversary and take a test drive in Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or see us at O'Reilly.com. Rules are made to be broken. Trucks are made to be driven. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
It's no contest, Tucson. You're listening to the home of the Arizona Wildcats. That's why 1290 runs this town. This is the one and only home of your Arizona Wildcats.
And you know this, man!
We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Let's see, something different for dinner. Searching restaurants near me.
Right here, ma'am. How can we help?
Gee, same old, same old.
Wait, we're right here. Ma'am, our restaurant's just a few blocks from you. Why is she not seeing us?
Back to the usual, I guess.
Ma'am, can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you. Because you're buried deep in the list of local restaurants. You are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at CumulusBoost.com.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-670-5151. That's 1-800-670-5151. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-670-5151. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Coming to you live from Hi Corbett Field here in Midtown Tucson, Arizona, right next to the beautiful Randolph Golf Course. Arizona baseball tonight taking on Grand Canyon. Rubber game of a 3-game season series in which all 3 games have been singular games played out over the course of the last month and a half. Grand Canyon comes in here. Their pitching coach is none other than Nathan Bannister. Nate Bannister, who pitched here at the University of Arizona, helped lead the Wildcats to a College World Series appearance in 2016. That was the first season that Jay Johnson was the head coach here after he replaced Andy Lopez, who retired after the 2015 season. Nathan Bannister played a few years in professional ball with the Seattle Mariners and then was a pitching coach in the Mariners system for a number of years, most recently with the Modesto A's, I believe, in 2022. And now this is his second season as the pitching coach here at Grand Canyon. So looking forward to seeing Nathan Bannister and his Charges. They played extremely well in shutting down the Wildcats earlier this year in the game in Phoenix. Only one Southern Arizona player of note on the roster, but it's a young man that I saw quite a bit play in high school here, Troy Sanders from Catalina Foothills High School is in his freshman season for the Antelopes, and so it'll be good to see Troy back here this year. Hasn't gotten a lot of time, as you can imagine, in his first season, only 20 at-bats so far this year, and is hitting, though, 300 with 6 hits in 20 at-bats, but I'm sure Troy will continue to be a pretty important presence for Grand Canyon as his career moves along with the Antelopes. So it'll be good to see, some kids with always good to see kids with Southern Arizona ties that we've had a chance to watch in high school come back and play in college here in Southern Arizona. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. 520-848-1290. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. You can also follow today's program by downloading our app. Don't forget, our app slaps. So get our app at Wildcats Radio 1290. It's got everything you need to know to keep track of things happening in Southern Arizona. If you head on over to the app right now, we've got a story up on the Arizona men's and women's tennis teams who both qualified for their respective NCAA tournaments. The ladies are back in the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2014, and the men are going to host for a second straight year over at the Robson Tennis Center. That'll all be this coming weekend, so head on over to our app. You can also interact with us on our app. You can send us a text message through our app. Just go to the front page, hit the button that says Message the Station, and that'll allow you to send us a text message. You can also record audio. Hit the Record Audio button on the front of our app, and then go to the next page and hit the red microphone and just start talking about sports. And that'll land right in our inbox. We may play it on the air, just a warning to you on that. But it's an opportunity, if you don't have time to wait on the phone lines, you can just pick up our app, record us a message, and send us your thoughts on Arizona Wildcats athletics, Pima College athletics, the world of athletics, or anything happening on the prep scene here in Southern Arizona. Also, we'd love to get your pictures. If you're out at a sporting event, hit share media, and you can not only send us photos, but you can also send us videos. So if you have a video message that you want to say, perhaps you'd like to give your opinion on Tommy Lloyd's latest 2 signings that we talked about in the last hour. Trey Townsend has arrived from Oakland, Michigan, and Tobe Uwaku has arrived from Tennessee. If you've got something you want to say about those 2 young men, go to our app, hit share media, upload a video of you talking sports or giving your opinion about Tommy Lloyd and his basketball program. We would welcome that as well. All kinds of different ways that you can interact with us on our app. All right, want to go back to the NBA, let you know what's happening tonight. There's 3 games tonight. You got the Cavaliers hosting the Magic. This series is 2-2. The Cavaliers got blown out in the 2 games in Orlando. They won the 2 games at home by double digits. So this series has not been close in any realm other than the fact that it's even, and it's now a 3-game series. The Knicks and the Sixers are the first game of the night. That is just underway, and the Knicks are trying to close this series out as they lead 3-1. That's back at Madison Square Garden tonight. Also up 3-1 is Indiana. They are in Milwaukee. J-Dub, did the Bucks survive this?
No. because they don't have Dame or Giannis.
Both of those guys are not playing tonight either.
Yeah, I mean, Giannis has been out the whole series.
Yeah.
Dame got injured late in game 2. He's been sidelined. So last I heard, they were both scratched. So, I mean, without those two guys, DK, without your two best, talk about the 1-2 punch of the Denver Nuggets. Well, that's the same deal with Milwaukee. At least that's the way they envisioned it when they picked up Dame Lillard this summer. After that, a long fiasco of him wanting to get out of Portland. So, yeah, without those two guys, Indiana, we've talked a lot about Ben Mathurin, and Benedict Mathurin has not played for these last 2 months. But after that trade for Siakam, Indiana looks tough. They're still very young, but with Turner and Halliburton, those two guys alone, it's a really good 1-2 punch of their own. And fastest paced team, highest scoring team. They just got to figure out how to defend, and they've really had Milwaukee's number this year.
Well, and in terms we were talking about of the, in the last hour about the Denver-Los Angeles series, and I want to touch on the two Wildcats that appear for the Denver Nuggets. And Aaron Gordon only scored 7 points in that game last night, but man, did he come up with some big rebounds to keep possessions alive for the Denver Nuggets. And you were talking about his play a little bit earlier and what he adds to that realm there. What's up, brother? How you doing? Always good to see you. The staff are beginning to arrive here for tonight's game, which will get going at around 6 o'clock. However, Zeke Naji played less minutes this year, J-Dub, than he did last year. In fact, let's go back 2 seasons. Obviously, before the Nuggets got in a position to make deep runs in the postseason, he averaged 17 minutes in his second season back in 21-22. That fell to 14 minutes last year. And this year, he played just 10 minutes per ball game and averaged just 3 points. And you'll remember at the beginning of the year, that was one of the conversations we had, was Zeke Naji's role going to grow this year with this outfit? And it just never seemed to materialize.
Yeah, first on Aaron Gordon, I think, he's always been a bit of a Swiss Army knife, and it's really what the coaching staff and the team game-by-game basis what they need for him. So in Game 3 versus the Lakers, he had 29 points. It was the leading scorer, 15 rebounds, leading rebounder. Last few games, they really didn't need his scoring. Those huge, timely rebounds, had one huge offensive rebound that more or less won that game for them. As far as Zeke Naji goes, I'll say this. I think that the Denver Nuggets are a well-oiled machine right now. If you watch their rotation, and the guys really kind of have a second nature. They know what their teammates are thinking before they think it, that type of thing. They've got that going on. Zeke Naji hasn't got much playing time, DK, because of how well the other guys are playing, number one. And number two, people may forget, but Zeke Naji skipped a grade coming out of high school and came to campus super young. So he's still a very, very young player. He's got plenty of time, but I think his upside, they really like him there in Denver. So as far as what he can contribute right now, the Nuggets, until they start having some issues off the bench with their, with size, I think, Zeke Naji's shooting ability from the outside, as he showed here on campus at the U of A, a strong rebounder for his position. He's definitely has a future in the NBA. I just think he's playing for a team that's really playing well right now with the rotation that they've got.
Well, just 23 years old, as you mentioned, still very young. It'll be interesting to see if that career blossoms in another location, or if that's, and I would think that that's probably what's going to happen eventually, is Zeke Naji will end up on somebody else's roster.
Yeah.
And be able to begin to play more minutes in the league.
Sometimes, DK, it's like the concept of getting recruited over in college. Well, in the NBA, you might select a guy and then the next year select another guy, maybe late in the first round, early second round type of guy. And the one that's selected the year after may be more advanced and more ready to contribute day one. And that's what happened to Zeke Naji. Not that Christian Brown plays the exact same position, but I think a lot of the minutes that Christian Brown is getting in that rotation would have been Zeke Naji's minutes had he not come out and played so well last year in his first year. And then obviously he's plays heavy minutes this year as well.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. We're going to chat coming up with Toby DeMello. Toby DeMello is one of the assistant coaches for the Arizona Wildcats. He is the guy that is listed in charge of the offense for this team. He's a former college and professional catcher. Looking forward to talking to Toby about his life in professional baseball, how he got into coaching, and what his hopes are for this Arizona Wildcats team, especially on the offensive end moving forward. We will also update you on the prep baseball scene. We talked a little bit about the softball state tournament that is happening right now. The baseball state tournament is also going on, and we'll roll you through 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, and 6A and let you know what the teams here in Southern Arizona are doing in that respect. Also, still straight ahead, Dawson Nets. You heard, if you were with us earlier in the show, you heard the head coach of the Arizona Wildcats, Chip Hale, talk about Dawson Nets, the pitcher in his 5th season here, as being one of his leaders in the clubhouse. You will hear from Dawson on his role as a leader, as a reliever on this team, as a guy that kind of can come in and you go all the way back to 2021, his freshman year. And, a guy that came in and started a key game, the clincher that in the Super Regionals that led the Wildcats to the College World Series in Jay Johnson's last season. And, again, he's kind of bounced around this lineup and filled a number of different roles. And we'll hear from Dawson on the role that he holds right now with this Arizona club. And again, we want to talk to you today, 520-848-1290, if you're heading out to the ball game tonight and going to check out the Wildcats as they take on Grand Canyon. Right now, though, Cricket is with us, and she gets you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With some slowdowns for southbound La Cholla at Ajo Way, also some backups for Ajo and Mission. For westbound traffic on Ajo Way approaching Mission, Alvernon and Speedway, earlier collision occurred there, and also collision Romero to the south of Roger Road. And a crash on 6th Avenue to the south of Valencia. And overnight tonight, 58 the low, 90 sunny tomorrow, and 92 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Android users, you can tune in to the home of the Wildcats by downloading our new app at the Google Play Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Coming to you live from Hi Corbett Field, Arizona midweek baseball. The Wildcats taking on the Grand Canyon Antelopes tonight, coming off the Washington series this weekend in Seattle. Wildcats fell in 2 of those 3 games. Their 11-game winning streak of the Pac-12 was snapped on Saturday. Pleased to be joined by one of the assistant coaches for your Arizona Wildcats, Toby DeMello, joining us in his 3rd season. First, though, is a full-time, a paid assistant. Nice to be making some money here, I would imagine now, Toby.
Yeah, it's nice to take off the volunteer title. I appreciate you having me, David.
Absolutely. So let's talk about your background. Played some college baseball at St. Mary's College, spent some time in professional ball before getting in on the coaching side of it. But first of all, tell me about your professional career, what you enjoyed most about having a chance drafted in the 29th round by the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, it was short-lived. And I was a senior sign catcher. Just really was drafted to defend. I could really defend. Not a great hitter, but it was awesome. It was a great experience, and I always, I always wanted to go to the coaching route. My dad was my high school coach, and I grew up around it. So really, it was just taking that experience, and you play 140 games a year, and so you get to see a lot of baseball and learn a bunch. But I certainly enjoyed my time. I was fortunate enough. It actually became a joke. I think all my roommates made it to the big leagues. I roomed with Chris Taylor one year. I lived with Ian Miller one year, Andrew Kittredge another year, and so I still talk to those guys, and it was an awesome experience. Met some great people, and obviously now coaching and enjoying it.
A catcher, I would imagine.
Yep.
Your
Caught,
position, yeah.
Yep, I caught. Like you said, played at St. Mary's, then went to the Mariners for 3 years, and then played a couple years of indie ball, and got into coaching.
So what made you, I guess, when you decided you wanted to go the coaching route, how did you want to try to make that happen for yourself? Did you have an idea of the steps you were going to need to take to maybe eventually get into a position like this on a paid Division I staff?
Yeah, and it's a really challenging industry to get into. And what was difficult was my college coaches were actually out of the game at that point. So I really didn't have anyone to call, and that's typically how it works, right? You go get the volunteer job at your alma mater or someone that you know. So I really had to start from ground zero. Started at a junior college in my hometown, and then just kind of did the old school way, sent hundreds of emails, and fortunately the head coach at Sac State, Reggie Christensen, was one of like 3 or 4 people that responded, and he said, "Hey, I got an ops job. You won't get paid." And I said, "Sign me up. Let's do it." So that kind of started like that, and Bill Kernan was one of the assistants on that staff. I don't know if you know who that is. He was Augie Garrido's pitching coach, and so I learned a lot from him. And he really just said, make yourself invaluable, right? Like everything you do every day, just make it so someone has to hire you, and someone has to not let you go, right? And so I tried to do everything I could. I helped with pitching, hitting, catching, infield, and just tried to be a sponge and learn as much as I could, and fortunate to be here now.
Then you came here as a volunteer assistant. What was attractive about coming and being a part of Chip Hale's first staff here?
Yeah, obviously you want to just keep moving up, right? And Arizona's a blue blood program, and you get an opportunity like that, it's yes right away. And I was fortunate. I actually grew up with Daniel Susak's brother, Andrew Susak. He and I were their dad and uncle coached me from the time I was 5 years old. So I'd known the Susaks for a long time, and that was I think kind of the initial connection when this came open. And obviously Dan was here that first year, and so it was appealing. Obviously, it's just Arizona, right? then getting the opportunity and trying to make the most of it. It was a pretty easy decision.
So you obviously you knew the Susak family, like you said, Daniel, a catcher as well.
Yep.
What were some of the things that you talked to him about catching that year that you guys were together here?
Yeah, and Dan was a first-round draft pick. If I would have told him to stand on his head and hit left-handed, right? Like he was going to get drafted in the first round. It wasn't that part was easy. It was more like how do you get him ready for the next level and how do you go about the game like a pro, right? And he had obviously had his brother too, so he had so many resources. But just it was a lot different conversations with him, right? It was like, you're going to be sore when it's August and you're in game 120. How are you going to hit then? How are you going to take BP that day? How are you going to go about your routine? What can you take away? What can you add when you're not feeling good? And really just trying to get him to understand we were kind of playing the long game. He was going to be good for us, right? And that part was easy. It was like, how do we get you to be ready to play 140 games and get you ready for the big leagues, essentially.
Toby DeMello joining us, assistant coach for the Arizona Wildcats baseball team. You talk about, obviously, you lived that, the dog days of summer. I spent, 9 years broadcasting in the minor leagues, so you know what those games in July and the heat in early August, and you're looking to try to get to Labor Day and the season being over. So what did you tell him? Like, hey, what did you instruct him about? Okay, yeah, when you get to that point in August, here's how you need to go about those days when you're not feeling 100%.
Yeah, for sure. And he's from Sacramento like I am, and then coming to Arizona, the humidity is a different beast, right? And so I can't really prepare you for that. Like, you're going to play in some humid spots, and you got to stay hydrated. You got to recover the right way. You got to get in the cold tub. You got to take your ice baths. You got to you go see the trainer pregame, postgame. Making that important, right? What you put in your body is your diet good, right? And so get him away from his Dr. Pepper before the game, right? And things like that. Just trying to get him to understand all that, because it's when you're playing in Jackson in the Southern League in July, man, that's hot, right? It's 100 degrees, it's humid, and you can wring out your undershirt after the game, and it's pouring sweat, right? And it just a lot of that stuff, and he knew it all, right? Like, he was a fun guy to coach, because he was really, like, if you didn't know it, he was going to call you out, right? And so it really challenged me to, if I had to go to him with something, like, I had to really know it. So he made me better because he was so smart.
Yeah, I did 3 years in Memphis, man. You come out of the ballpark at 11 o'clock, and that humidity hits you, and you're like, whoa.
And it doesn't cool down when the sun goes down. It's still hot.
It does not, not whatsoever. So you've kind of come in here as I guess for lack of a better term, the offensive coordinator in this first year, a guy that's kind of worked on that end of it. So what's kind of your dynamic and how you want to help build this offense and carry it through a season?
Dave, I think the challenge for that is, like, you want to play to your players' strengths all the time, right? So like last year, for example, we had a team that could really slug, and it was a really old offense, right? And so, I think we were a little more static. We weren't trying to steal many bases. We weren't going to hit and run a lot. It was a really dangerous lineup in terms of power. Really, we had six guys that hit double-digit home runs last year. And it's actually me and Mason were just talking about this the other day. He's like, why would I steal if I'm hitting before Tony Bullard, right? Like, he's going to hit a home run or a double. I'm going to score from first anyway. And where this year we don't slug as much, but I think we're a little more dynamic, right? We've bunted a little more hit and run. So just, I always tell our guys, like, our identity is just scoring runs, right? And so however we need to score runs is what we're going to do. And whether that's with slug, whether that's, being really good base runners, whether it's, more stealing, hit and run. It's really just trying to play to your players' strengths and highlight what they do well, and hopefully try to hide what they don't do so well, right, and put them in positions to succeed.
Arizona baseball assistant coach Toby DeMello is our guest. So when things got off offensively to the slow start this year, how did you assess that, and what were some of the things you looked at early that you wanted to change?
I think it was really challenging, but it was also fun because the message that I sent, I kept saying it early, is like, guys, we're really close. We're really close. Like, if you didn't think that, you weren't watching our games. A 1-run loss to Alabama, a 1-run loss to DBU. I don't think I think every loss we've had since Arizona State 4-0 has been by 1 run, right? And, like, we were playing those games early, and we played some really good teams. So it wasn't like, okay, we need to just make these wholesale changes. It was like, we need to keep going, because, I think, gosh, we're starting 4 or 5 freshmen and sophomores, right? We're young. Like, they're going to continue to get better. You got to keep coaching them. But just really trying to keep them believing in what they're doing and their process, because when you're close both ways, right? And I told them the same thing last week, like, hey, teams know we're good now. And so just like we were close to being really good, like it's really small to being bad too, right? So we just have to now it's the harder part. Now teams know we're good, and we have to really play discipline. And but it wasn't really changing anything. It was like, what can we do better, right? And let's identify those things, and let's just keep working on it. Because it was crazy, but I was like, I think we're going to be good. I kept telling them that, like, I believe we're going to be really good. And I think they started winning and started believing it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Toby DeMello joining us, assistant coach, Arizona baseball. So now 3 years with Chip Hale.
Yep.
How's he challenged you?
That's a good question. Man, I don't know if this is right, but I think he's the only college head coach that's been a big league manager. So just
currently, there's been a few.
Currently,
there's been a few. Eric Wedge was at Wichita State.
Yes.
Bloomquist is, I think, still at Arizona
He's
State.
He's at ASU, but I don't think he wasn't a big league manager. Wedge was.
Oh, manager. Yeah.
Okay, I know Wedge was, but he's not coaching anymore.
Not coaching anymore, right?
But just taken from someone who's seen more games, gosh, than I mean, he's probably forgotten more games than I've seen, right? And, I think that what he's awesome about is, like, he just is like, go do your thing. And so I just ask him questions. And I think that's been the biggest thing, is like, he's really given me the freedom to kind of do what I want in that sense. And then when there's anything that comes up, it's just a simple question and it's a conversation, because he's seen so much. And so I'm always constantly learning from him and asking him, hey, why'd you hit and run in that situation? Because I want to know, right? I want to know what he's thinking. And he's just an incredible resource. So I don't know if it's like, I think more so just like being around him every day, learning as much as I can. I don't know if it's been like a challenging thing per se. It's more so just how much can you learn from that guy? Because you want to learn at every stop, right?
Who's the player maybe that's been the surprise for you offensively? I mean, obviously, I'm sure you knew what you had in Caulfield and Mason White and some of those kids, but maybe who's the kid that you thought, I wasn't sure what we were going to get out of him, and it's been a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, we spend so much time with these guys. Summerhill hasn't been a surprise at all. I think we all kind of in the locker room knew he was going to be good, and he was a freshman. Kane's been having a good year, but again, he had a really good fall. I think the biggest one was Brayfogle. I think in the fall he wasn't great necessarily, and we thought he'd be really good. We just didn't know if he'd be as a freshman or potentially sophomore, junior year, maybe more like a Chase Davis, right, where needed a little bit of time to see what college baseball is like. And he struggled in the fall, but I think that was actually the best thing that happened to him, was he didn't have to struggle during the season. So he was, we got to work in October, November, made some small adjustments, and he's always kind of played with some confidence, even through not a great fall. He always had a confidence about him. So I think for a surprise, I think it would probably be Brayfogle. But yeah, we've had some guys that had good falls. I don't know if it's surprising per se.
Garen Caulfield had a great summer last year on the Cape. When you get those kids that go into those summer situations, how often are you in contact with them? Are you just leaving them alone and saying, hey, I'm going to let you go have your summer? Let the coaches there coach you, but here's some of the things we'd like you to work on from our side of it.
Yeah, I try to balance it, right, because I think at some point all of our guys want to play pro ball. And when you get to pro ball, you're going to be your best coach, and you're going to interact with the players all the time. And so at some point you got to figure some stuff out on your own. So I try to stay in touch with them every, week or two. I'll call them honestly just to check in. Hey, how are your parents doing? How are you? How's your girlfriend doing? Like, just because, you got to care about them as people first. I would say typically more of the baseball conversations come from them. Like, they'll reach out to me, hey, can you look at some video, or, whatever the case may be. So honestly, more of it's just making sure, that we maintain the relationship, because that's important. I think that's, first and foremost, that's why we all wanted to get into coaching, I hope, right? Like, we want to help out the next generation and try to help them become the best versions of themselves. And that includes off the field, right? Being the best people they can be. And so just try to maintain the relationship part of it.
What's your goal? College head coach, get back into pro ball, potentially manage at that level?
I definitely want to stay in college. I wrote down a goal when I started this. I've always kind of been, what's my 5-year, 10-year deal. I wanted to be a Power 5 head coach by the time I was 40.
Oh, wow.
That was what I wrote down when I started this thing. But to be honest, like goals are great, and I think everyone should have them. But I'm just really trying to do the best I can this year, and really each day, right, and be the best coach I can, and whatever happens, happens.
All right, we'll keep doing that great job, Toby. It's really been fun watching this offense kind of grow as this season has gone on, and you guys got on that winning streak. I'm looking forward to you guys. It's going to be a battle down the stretch here to try to win this Pac-12 title, but it's going to be fun to watch this club try to do it.
It'll be a great time. It's exciting baseball, man. That's what you ask for, right? We'll play important games at the end of the year.
There you go. Toby DeMello, assistant coach, Arizona Baseball, has been our guest. Wildcats and Grand Canyon here tonight. 6 o'clock will be first pitch. You'll hear it right here with Brian Jeffries on Wildcats Radio 1290. Right now, though, cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Pantano and 22nd Street and Pantano, a collision also crashed 6th Avenue near Valencia on 6th Avenue to the south of Valencia and Romero to the south of Roger Road. And travel picking up on the westbound side of I-10 approaching and passing Alvernon. Also the same, travel picking up on westbound I-10 approaching Ruthroff. 58 are low, clear skies, 90, sunny tomorrow, and 91 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. At Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, they'll help you with any air conditioning, drain, or pipe issues. Trust the big guy. Contact Tucson's most respected AC and plumbing experts anytime at coolwillies.com, where they are big enough to help and small enough to care. That's coolwillies.com.
Do you need your home repiped? Having trouble with your water heater? Leaking toilet? Have you ever thought about an instant recorded seweroscopy? Then call Economy Plumbing Service at 885-3510. Because if water goes through it or to it, we do it. Economy Plumbing, 885-3510.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
Ready for a staycation? Hey guys, Taylor Swift here. We're ready. Are you? Keep listening for your chance to win one of 3 trips to see Taylor Swift on the Eras Tour this fall. Shake it out. You and your bestie with Round Trip Air, a hotel room for tonight, and 2 tickets to the hottest tour on the planet. I'm having a blast on my tour, and I want to fly you out to join me. Your next chance to text a nationwide keyword happens soon. Welcome to the Eras Tour.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Listeners, take time to remember our troops overseas. They have selflessly risked their lives for our safety and well-being. And if hiring, consider hiring a veteran. This message paid for by R&R Restoration LLC of Tucson. They're specializing in classic car restoration. Let over 35 years of experience go to work for you. Call R&R Restoration LLC today at 520-777-6903 or visit oldguysrestoration.com. That's R&R Restoration, people who care.
And that's why Alaska vacations are going to be so important.
Sorry I'm late.
Where have you been?
You're gonna love this. Speak for yourself.
Make it quick. We have to remind people that getting an Alaskification right now means cool, comfortable air all summer.
Okay, so check this out.
Right, because when Alaskan AC Alaskifies, we do more than just tune up your AC.
Exactly. So my idea is...
We clean, test, tighten, and bring your AC back to the way it was when it was installed.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking.
People don't realize most of the repairs we do could have been prevented through our thorough Alaskification.
But
best part is, Alaskifications come with a 1-year no-breakdown guarantee.
But
a whole year of knowing your AC is healthy.
Okay.
And if it's time for a new AC, we built the Grizzly especially for Arizona summers.
I'm going to get the technicians ready to Alaskify the city.
But...
And I'll make sure the dispatchers are getting our people out fast.
But...
Cool idea, Gary.
Yeah, Gary. See ya.
Schedule at alaskanac.com.
Hi, this is Joe Parsons, President and CEO of Parsons Steel and proud member of the Advisory Business Council of Meridian Wealth Management. As a longtime Tucsonan, professional rodeo cowboy, and businessman, I live my life on several core values and principles. Keep your promises, finish what you start. There's a line between right and wrong and nothing in between. Natalie Fernandez and her team at Meridian share those core values, and I'm very proud to know them. To learn more about Meridian, call 719-1433.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We are coming to you live from Hi Corbett Field here. It is the Wildcats getting set to take on Grand Canyon in baseball, wrapping up a 3-game series with the Antelopes. It'll be Ben Smith on the mound for the Lopes. He is 1-2 with a 5.57 ERA, and Raul Garazar is 0-2 and 8.71 earned run average. He's made 7 appearances this season, 10 and a third innings, 11 strikeouts, but he has allowed 10 earned runs, and opponents are batting .367 against him. He will get the start here tonight. College baseball here at Hi Corbett Field. We've got a ton of high school baseball happening around the state of Arizona. The state tournament is underway, and I wanted to bring you up to date on all of that today, as well as we have not had a chance to get much into our high school baseball coverage this spring, but we'll start with 6A. Queen Creek is the number 1 seed. No Tucson teams made the 6A state tournament this year. Tucson and Marana both lost in the play-in round. In 5A, Castile is the number 1 seed. They are the defending champions. Desert View and Cienega suffered first-round losses. Monday night, 3rd seed Nogales beat number 6 seed Catalina Foothills. That postseason rivalry continues. And how about a Prep Prince Award to the Tribe's David Zazueta? He had 3 hits, 4 RBIs, and pitched a complete game in the run rule win. 6 Ks in 5 innings of work for David Zazueta. Worthy of a Prep Prince Award indeed. Nogales now going to play this week against Sunrise Mountain for a chance to advance to the B bracket final. The Falcons, though, of Catalina Foothills now must come back through the elimination bracket. In 4A, Scottsdale Saguaro is the number 1 seed. They beat Tucson's Saguaro in the first round by a score of 4-0. The Saguaro Sabercats will play 4th seed South Point Catholic on Wednesday at Tempe's Diablo Stadium. That will be in round 3. The Lancers have beaten Walden Grove and Flagstaff to get to this point. Junior pitcher Lucas Shannon allowed just 1 hit in that 5-inning run rule win over Flagstaff. He struck out 8. Canyon del Oro is in the B bracket in 4A. They, too, are on to round number 3 after wins over Douglas and American Leadership Academy Queen Creek. Dorado's senior outfielder Michael Jones has 6 RBIs so far in the postseason. Conference 3A, the playoffs get underway tonight. Valley Christian is the number 1 seed. Push Ridge Christian is the 5th seed. They'll host Snowflake tonight. Tankerverde at number 9 and Safford at number 14. They're both on the road today. 3A is single elimination, and that is in the first round and the quarterfinals. 2A gets going this weekend. Conference 2A, Phoenix Christian is the number 1 seed. Bisbee is a 3 seed. Tombstone is the 4th seed. Pima will host Benson in the 7-10 game. Wilcox also in this field as the number 15 seed. And in 1A, Baghdad is number 1. Baghdad number 1 on the boys and the girls side on the diamond. Desert Christian is the number 3 seed, and the Eagles will host Lincoln Prep. That'll be this Saturday over at Desert Christian's Wrightstown campus. So that is a look at your prep baseball scoreboard. And the state tournament's going on for both baseball and softball. Always a fun time of the year to get our prepsters out on the diamond with a chance to cover state championships. You know, when I left, when I took this job, J-Dub, last June, somebody asked me what are among the things I was going to miss about TV, and I said, well, one of the things I'm going to miss is the baseball and the softball state championships during the months of April and May, because there's nothing more fun than going up to Phoenix and watching those youngsters play, especially on the baseball side. They get to play in the minor league facilities at Tempe Diablo Stadium and Hohokam Stadium out in Mesa, and some of the other facilities around Southern Arizona. It's fun to go watch those baseball teams compete in that realm for a chance to win a state championship every summer.
Well, maybe you could talk to Kenny and we could figure something out.
Yeah, I was it's funny. I just, as I was putting together all this information today, I was thinking about that. I was like, yeah, well, unfortunately, though, next week is most of the state championships are next weekend or at the end of next week, and we're going to be on hiatus again at the end of next week, so we would probably miss a lot of those.
Well, you could do it
year.
Personally rather than professionally, if you want to go up there and walk around and take some pictures.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. We could do that, but unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town at the end of next weekend, so that might not work as well. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. 520-848-1290. That's what's happening on the prep scene. Let's give you an indication of what's been happening lately on the major league scene with your Arizona Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks download.
Baseball stuff!
All right, the people that wear blue have been in town this week, the Dodgers. And, again, the Dodgers did not necessarily get off to a great start this season, but they are starting to play really, really good baseball as of late. They've won 7 of their last 10, and they came in and took Game 1 of this series last night over the Arizona Diamondbacks, getting a win up at Chase Field by a score of 8-4. Diamondbacks, again, with a lot of injuries to their pitching staff. In fact, I'm not sure, I haven't checked, but the most recent injury was to Zach Gallen. Tommy Henry got the start last night for the D-backs, went just 4 innings, allowed 2 runs on 5 hits. He took the loss to fall to 1-2, and so the D-backs will try to get back in the mix tonight against the Dodgers. The Dodgers right now 19-12, and they lead the National League West by 4 games over the Giants. The Padres have now creeped into that tie with the Diamondbacks. Both of those teams are 5.5 games behind the Dodgers, and of course the Rockies continue to bring up the backside of the National League West in the basement as they are 7-21. First pitch tonight will be 6:40 up at Chase Field. Jordan Montgomery, the newest Diamondbacks pitcher, and he did not arrive soon enough with the injuries that we've been talking about, but he has pitched pretty well in his first couple of starts, 1-1 with a 2.77 ERA. He'll be opposed by Landon Knack for the Dodgers, a right-hander. He is also 1-1. His earned run average is 327. So far this season, Shohei Ohtani hitting 341, so the average is really good. And 7 home runs and 19 RBIs, not necessarily driving in a ton of runs. To go with those 7 home runs is Shohei. Mookie Betts, though, hitting 377, has an on-base percentage of 479, and
That's
is
good.
slugging 639. I mean, Mookie Betts off to a great start with 6 home runs and 23 RBIs for the Dodgers. D-backs right now offensively, Ketel Marte leading them offensively at 311 on the season, 5 home runs. 5 home runs also for Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who leads the club with 22 runs batted in. But right now the Diamondbacks are 4 games under 500 at 13-7, and the Dodgers are the favorite on your Desert Diamond Casino sportsbook board tonight at -110. And again, first pitch coming up. The roof will likely be closed because the temperature is 89 degrees tonight in Phoenix at 6:40.
Other news came out today, DK, about Shohei's former teammate.
Okay.
Multiple MVP, Mr. Mike Trout, apparently is having some surgery on Friday. He's going to be missing 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, wow, yeah, torn meniscus.
Yep, torn meniscus.
So that not good to hear, obviously, for Mike Trout. How are the Angels doing this year, by the way?
How are the Angels ever doing? They're 11-18 on the season.
Yeah, that's not
they're
good.
in 4th place in the AL West.
Yep, not winning baseball for sure. Not winning baseball.
Well, I mean, come on. We've had the conversation. I think every sports talk people have had the conversation. How do you have a team with Mike Trout and then add Shohei when he's doing the pitching and batting thing for 4 years and not make the playoffs?
How about Jack Flaherty, though? The Tigers today struck out the first 7 batters of the ball game to tie the American League record for consecutive strikeouts to start a game. He finished with 14 strikeouts. Jack Flaherty, who's on my fantasy team, so I'm loving that today. 6 2/3 innings. He had 14 strikeouts in that game as the Tigers beat the St. Louis Cardinals by a score of 2-1. I'm liking that. I need all the good pitching that I can get from my fantasy team because right
Doesn't
now
seem like we've heard a lot of huge strikeout numbers lately.
No, you're right. No,
Like,
there
I mean,
hasn't. But because I think one of the things is because you really haven't had a lot of guys going deep into games.
Yeah, that could. It looks like 2016, DK, is the last time a pitcher struck out 20. I remember the Kerry Wood era when he came on the scene and he was just throwing all kinds of strikes. But yeah, Max Scherzer is the last pitcher to throw a game with 20 strikeouts. I remember, there was a period there where it seemed like, getting up into the 18, 19, 20 era was pretty common. But yeah, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of middle relievers in going into games these days.
Yeah, and I wanted to touch on. I had a chance. I mentioned this last week. I had a chance to get out and MC an event this past weekend. The U.S. Marshals Survivors Benefit Fund was in town, and they this 3rd consecutive year they've had their annual golf event here in Southern Arizona out at El Conquistador. Outstanding event. Got a chance to really meet a lot of those folks up there and spend some time and play a little golf and really learn a lot about what that organization is all about. And then that was on the heels of what happened yesterday in North Carolina when 4 U.S. Marshals were killed while serving an arrest warrant on a house in Charlotte, North Carolina. And it really, again, after spending a weekend getting to kind of understand what that organization is all about to assist. Now they've got 4 new families as of yesterday, and some of the folks that talked on Saturday spoke of how we love this organization and what we do. We wish we didn't have to do it, and the reason that they have to do it is as a result of things that happened yesterday when an active shooter with an assault rifle opened fire on marshals as he descended on this man's home. The gunman was killed in the line of fire as police officers as well fired back. But now the U.S. Marshals Survivors Benefit Fund has 4 new families that they will be taking care of down there in Charlotte, North Carolina. And, of course, we send out our condolences to those folks and our prayers to the Survivor Benefits Fund for what they'll need to do now to make sure that those families down there of those U.S. Marshals are taken care of. But it was a fun event. Glad I had a chance to participate in that, get a chance to meet some of those people. And you'll hear, I got a chance to sit down with Megan Doyle, and her dad was a U.S. Marshal. He did not necessarily get killed in the line of duty like what happened yesterday in Charlotte, North Carolina, but he was a U.S. Marshal in New York and ran to the towers to help back on September 11th of 2001, and 15 years later came down with cancer as a result of obviously all of the debris and stuff that was filled New York City and Manhattan as a result of that terrorist attack, and passed away. And so her family was helped out by the U.S. Marshals Survivors Benefit Fund. They helped send her younger brother to college. They helped with a lot of the, again, putting money in the hands of these families immediately after one of their loved ones passes away, to help with funeral expenses and whatever other expenses that the families need to get through those tragic times. So you'll have a chance to hear that interview with Megan Doyle coming up this weekend on our Sunday morning show that we have that runs on all 5 of our stations here in town, Tucson in Review. Really honored to have a chance to talk to her about her father and the work that he did with the U.S. Marshals Service. All right, hour number 2 is in the books. Coming up in hour number 3, we're going to hear from Dawson Netz, one of the captains for the Arizona Wildcats baseball team. We'll also hear from Roberto Miranda as we continue to talk about the Arizona football spring game this past weekend and his continued development as he tries to be maybe one of the players who has a chance to be at the front of the line, replacing Tanner McLaughlin, who was drafted this weekend by the Cincinnati Bengals. It's DK on the Sports Tip. JW Madden is here. Cricket is here. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported in clearing at 22nd and Pantano and 22nd Street, and Romero south of Roger Road. Some busy travel on westbound Ajo at Mission, also on westbound Ina at Thornydale. 58 our overnight low, 90 and sunny tomorrow, and a 90 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by try the new limited edition Orange Dreamsicle Frosty at Wendy's. Try the new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty at Wendy's. It's like walking down recent memory lane. To have Orange Dreamsicle Frosty in our timeline is truly something special, and we shouldn't let the moment pass us by. And be quick, it's only available for a limited time.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. Hey, Car Flag Nation. You can't say that I did not warn you. And you can't say that I did not warn the Ham. The Ham wanted his smoke, and the Ham got his smoke, and it was all pretty predictable in the end. But I can give the Lake Show this much. At least they made it competitive. I mean, seriously, Lakers, good job, good effort. You see, Car Flaggers, I'm not a hater. How can I be a hater? I'm a native. I was born in Los Angeles. Just because I do not have car flags affixed to my sled does not mean that I'm not objective and I'm not fair. The Lake Show did everything they could last night to avoid the inevitable. It's just that the inevitable was, well, how do I put this? Inevitable. Yes, they led for chunks of that series, a good part of that series, and they played Denver tough. But as always, outclassed, outplayed, out-toughed, outcoached, the better team won. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million active members. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. Get in on the playoff action as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. Download the app right now. Use the code ROME for a first deposit match of
Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Taylor Swift. It's not too late for you to experience the Eras. Taylor brings the tour back to the U.S. this fall, and we put you in the running to see her in style. Win one of 3 trips to see Taylor Swift, including round-trip air, 2 nights hotel, $500 spending cash, and 2 of the hottest tickets on the planet. Welcome to the Eras Tour.
All right, right now I'm going to give you that keyword to text for a chance to win a trip to see Taylor Swift and the Eras Tour in New Orleans, Louisiana this October. You're going to text the keyword to 95819, 95819. That text word is blank, B-L-A-N-K, blank. Text blank right now to 95819. You've got a chance to be one of 2 remaining grand prize winners. Round-trip airfare for 2, 2-night hotel stay, 2 tickets to see Taylor Swift and the Eras Tour in New Orleans this October, plus $500 in cash coming to you courtesy of Wildcats Radio 1290.
Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket, getting you home when traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not 1, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
And we're coming to you live from Hi Corbett Field here, getting you set for Arizona Wildcats baseball against Grand Canyon. And if you're watching on one of our video streams, we're streaming this show on Twitter at Wildcats 1290, at Wildcats Radio 1290 on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch. We are joined by none other than the new athletics director and head baseball coach at Pima College, Ken Jacome, officially introduced today as the new AD. So was this officially the first day on the job, or have you been working since they announced that you're the guy?
I've been working. I'm not sure if this is the first official day or not, but I've been working.
So what's the first thing you did?
I just we had a meeting with some of the staff on Monday, just our normal AD's meeting when Monaco was the AD, and we just picked it up from where he left it off and met with some of the Todd Holthouse and Dan, Jerry Stitt, just some of the people that we normally have our meetings with on Monday. Just went over some things for the week and just trying to move forward as best we can.
And then obviously the 2 seed in the regional playoffs, that'll get going, I believe Thursday will be game 1.
Thursday is game 1 at 2 o'clock, so it's Thursday, Friday at 2, and then if necessary, Saturday at 12.
And you guys will be at home?
We will be at home.
All
and,
right.
That's what we worked for all season long, trying to get that home field advantage. So hopefully it helps us.
Yeah, we're talking to Ken Jacome, the new AD. You gave a little speech today when they introduced you. I thought it was interesting. You talked about how when you were coming in, you drove by Rincon High School, which you don't normally do. Did you take I was wondering, did he take a new route today, or how did that kind of come about?
Well, we had the press conference over at the Broadway office, Pima's Broadway office. So, I live on the northwest side of town, so I just don't frequent that area that often anymore. I grew up in that area, but I just don't have a need to go over there very often. So it was just ironic, just driving over there, and took me right past the baseball field, and just a lot of memories as I drove into that press conference. And so it was fun. It was a really cool thing.
You talked about Coach Alday, who you played for, who you coached under for a number of years, especially over at New Mexico. What did he mean to you?
Oh, I mean, he that guy meant everything to me and my career. He gave me an opportunity to coach at the highest level, Division I baseball, and I mean, I just wouldn't have been able to do what I've done without the opportunity he gave me. So truly thankful.
What do you out here watching anybody in particular tonight?
You know, we have some guys playing for the U of A. And there's the coaches at Grand Canyon are friends of mine. One of their assistants coached for me at Pima a couple years ago. So I just want to come out and say hi to these guys and support the players that played for me for the past couple years and watch a little bit of baseball before I head home.
Yeah, it's fun. We've been talking about, obviously we were talking last week and then about a month ago when New Mexico State came in here, getting a chance to see Romeo come back and play here in his hometown. It's fun when, Aiden, we were talking about Aiden May at the top of the show and had a fabulous outing again this weekend for Oregon State and beating Oregon. Always good to kind of keep track of those kids.
It is. It's fun for me to be able to sit back on the weekend, look up some box scores, see how our guys did, text those guys, and it's fun. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's about moving our players on and then following them. So, it's always fun. I was telling our guys in the dugout today during practice, one of my former players that I recruited as a walk-on at the University of New Mexico. He's a great soccer player, and we recruited him. I remember sitting in his house and trying to convince him just to come play baseball, and he came, and now he hit a walk-off homer last night for the Mariners against the Braves, and just watching him be able to do that. He played for the Rangers last year. His name is Mitch Garver.
Wow.
Played for the Rangers, won a World Series. So it's fun to watch those guys who you recruited and who played for you for 4 years, and now they're just making a great career in the big leagues.
So now Mitch Garver was a soccer player, but he also played some baseball?
He was a great soccer player. And, he was a great soccer player. He was so athletic. And you look at him now and you go, there's no way. But that guy was unbelievable. When he was at New Mexico, he would catch on Friday. He'd play center field on Saturday, and then he would catch on Sunday.
Wow.
He was a tremendous athlete.
That is something. All right, what's the first complaint that came over your desk?
I haven't had any yet. I have not had any yet, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
You tell everybody, you tell April, you get all the complaints, right? And you kind of fish out and give me the ones that I really need.
Yeah, no, everything's been great so far. So, it's been fun. I mean, it's just I have a great staff and great coaches, so it's been fun so far.
All right, well, we'll let you get inside and talk to your people. Appreciate you taking a few minutes to stop by, Ken.
Thank you, David. Appreciate you.
Ken Jacome, he is the new athletics director at Pima College, the baseball coach as well. The fellas will have the regional semifinals coming up this week, trying to win a back-to-back region championship. 40 wins in back-to-back seasons for Pima College baseball. Tremendous job that Ken Jacome has done with that program. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Stop by. We are just outside the press box here. We've got the spinning wheel out here. We've got the crew. Monique is here, and Jackie and Raul. They're taking care of the folks and getting everybody prized up here. There is no opportunity not to be prized up. You can always be prized up here if Wildcats Radio 1290 is on the scene. And again, we appreciate Ken Jacome stopping by. I think he's going to do a tremendous job over there. Keeping things going, everything that Jim Monaco started, that he'll get going or continue to go this year and moving on for the Pima Aztecs. And get out there and support that team coming up on Thursday. I'm going to try to get out. Actually, they just dumped a bunch of stuff on the schedule, so I was hoping to get out there Thursday. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but we'll see if that's possible. Wanted to give you the starting lineup for tonight's game. We're going to also be hearing from Dawson Netz coming up here in this hour, the captain, one of the captains for the Arizona Wildcats. Brendan Summerhill will lead off and play center field tonight for Arizona. Brendan has started 41 of the 42 games, hitting .335, so his average has come down a little bit. He was hitting .350, but he's got 13 doubles, and he is second on the team in runs batted in at 42. He is also second on the team in stolen bases with 6. Garen Caulfield will hit second and play second base, batting .322. He is one of 3 players in the lineup tonight who has started all 42 games. One of the other of those 3 is Mason White. Mason White will hit third and play shortstop. Mason hitting .316 with 14 home runs, a team high, as well as leading the squad with 53 runs batted in on the season with a slugging percentage of .632 for Mason White. Adonis Guzman is in the cleanup spot tonight. He is a sophomore, the catcher, hitting .306 on the season. Maddox Mahalikis is hitting 5th at third base. He hits .267 on the year. Emilio Corona bats 6th in right field, batting .261, 6 home runs this season. Emilio, though, has a team-high 10 stolen bases on the year. Andrew Kane will hit 7th. He plays first base and is a freshman, one of 2 freshmen in Chip Hale's lineup. Andrew Kane batting .306, but he's only played in 15 games. This will be just his 14th start on the season. Blake McDonald is the designated hitter. He is a senior hitting .259. He'll make his 17th start of the season. And TJ Adams will get the start in left field, a freshman batting .320. That is your starting lineup for the Arizona Wildcats as they get set to take on the Grand Canyon Antelopes here. First pitch will be a little after 6 o'clock. Our coverage will go till around 5:40. Brian Jeffries will take over at 5:45, and he'll get you set with everything you need to know about Arizona Wildcats baseball. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Let's get should we take an early break here, J-Dub, and then that way we have more time? How should we do this here?
Yeah, we can definitely take a break, DK.
All right, let's take this break a little bit earlier than normal. We'll come back. We'll let you hear from Dawson Nets and have a little bit more here from Hi Corbett Field as we get you set for the Wildcats and Grand Canyon. You're listening to DK on the Sports Tip. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported in clearing at 22nd and Pantano and 22nd Street, and Romero south of Roger Road. Some busy travel on westbound Ajo at Mission, also on westbound Ina at Thornydale. 58 our overnight low, 90 and sunny tomorrow, and a 90 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen. Hey, DQ fans, cool off with their new Summer Blizzard treat menu. Try new Picnic Peach Cobbler or snag a perfect beach treat like their new Peanut Butter Cookie Dough Party. The new Summer Blizzard treat menu is one you won't want to miss. Only at participating DQ locations. Happy tastes good.
Here at O'Reilly Chevrolet, we want to thank you, Tucson, for helping us celebrate 100 years of serving our community. And we want to thank the Tucson Fire Department for helping us put out the cape.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Cactus RV and Marine. Visit their original location on Romero north of Prince during I-10 construction or cactusrv.com.
Not all sports stations are built the same way. 1290 has Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball, plus the NFL and the Super Bowl. Tucson trusts 1290. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
And that's why Alaska vacations are going to be so important.
Sorry I'm late.
Where have you been?
You're going to love this.
Speak for yourself.
Make it quick. We have to remind people that getting an Alaska vacation right now means cool, comfortable air all summer.
Okay, so check this out.
Right, because when Alaskan AC Alaskifies, we do more than just tune up your AC.
Exactly. So my idea is...
we clean, test, tighten, and bring your AC back to the way it was when it was installed.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking.
People don't realize most of the repairs we do could have been prevented through our thorough Alaskification.
But best part is... Alaska vacations come with a 1-year no breakdown guarantee.
But
a whole year of knowing your AC is healthy.
Okay.
And if it's time for a new AC, we built the Grizzly especially for Arizona summers.
I'm going to get the technicians ready to Alaskify the city.
But
and I'll make sure the dispatchers are getting our people out fast.
But
cool idea, Gary.
Yeah, Gary. See ya.
Schedule at alaskanac.com.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan.
It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE-certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Boot Barn honors a Western legacy built by those who persevere through resourceful determination. Ariat honors that same legacy by bringing innovative technology to classic pieces. Driven by a dedication to the craft, Ariat blends timeless Western artistry with advanced performance features for the modern cowboy and rodeo athlete. Out west, ingenuity is second to none. Ariat at Boot Barn.
Have you been arrested for something you didn't do? When your liberty is on the line, you need an aggressive, experienced attorney to defend your rights. Lerner & Rowe Law Group is the firm you can trust with your freedom. Our criminal defense attorneys have represented thousands of clients across the state, and with our affordable payment plans, you can get the defense you need immediately. If you've been wrongly charged with a crime, time is not on your side. Call Lerner & Rowe today for a free consultation. We're available to help you 24/7.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Hey guys, don't be that dad without life insurance. When thanks to Ethos, you can be that great dad with life insurance to help keep his family living exactly like they do now, secure and protected in the event of the unexpected. With a fast and easy online experience, some policies as low as $1 a day and up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam, just a few health questions. Ethos makes getting life insurance protection hassle-free. E for easy, E for ethos at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports. Let's kick it over to the National Women's Soccer League, where World Cup champion Rose Lavelle had a memorable debut for Gotham FC. Trailing 1-0 late in stoppage time against Racing Louisville, Lavelle scored the tying goal in the 97th minute and saved her squad from suffering their third loss of the season. Lavelle signed with Gotham, the reigning league champions, this offseason after 3 years with the Seattle Reign. She missed the start of the season with a leg injury, but she's wasting no time helping star-studded Gotham with their title defense.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's obviously, we have a very deep team, a lot of talent, so I was really excited to be able to get on the field and link up with them. I think it makes the day-to-day environment obviously so much better when you're going in and you're growing, you're getting pushed by everybody every single day. So that's the fun thing, is every day we're getting better, we're learning from each other, and it's an exciting environment to be a part of.
With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Maggie Gray on Westwood One.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy?
Totalmente.
And you get unlimited 5G data, $25 a line for 4 lines on the unlimited plan, at an amazing price, with no contracts. Should you switch to Total by Verizon? Definitely.
Totalmente.
Find a store or switch suavemente at totalbyverizon.com. Monthly rate when you activate without a pay, plus taxes and fees. Discount begins the month after you enroll. Additional terms apply. See website for data management practices.
Tyler from Wendy's here. The best part of Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart is every part. Unlike mornings, which have no good parts. Until now. Because with Wendy's new breakfast Cinnabon Pull-Apart, mornings finally don't completely suck. And now that mornings have warm cinnamon sugar rolled dough and ooey gooey frosting, are they the best part of every day? Probably not, but you get the idea. Get to Wendy's today and get the best part in every bite with the new Cinnabon Pull-Apart.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, Cinnabon is a registered trademark of Cinnabon Franchisor SPV LLC.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We're out here at Hi Corbett Field getting set for Arizona Wildcats baseball here tonight against Grand Canyon. First pitch coming up a little bit after 6 o'clock. Brian Jeffries will have the call tonight, and he'll be on the air with us here in about 25 minutes or so. I want you to hear from Dawson Netz. Dawson Netz in his 5th season here at the University of Arizona played his first year in the COVID-shortened campaign of 2020, has made, to this point, 88 appearances. He actually is on course to break the all-time program record for appearances by a pitcher at the University of Arizona. This year has made all 14 of his appearances out of the bullpen. There's Jerry Stitt hanging out tonight. Always a great Arizona Wildcat and Pima Aztec. Dawson Netz has pitched 15 and 2/3 innings, so his innings have been down this year as he's gone into a more situational type role under this particular Chip Hale coach team, but has a record of 2-0 with an ERA of 3.45. And Dawson, a captain on this team, was asked about his message to the Wildcats in his role as their captain.
Just helping a lot of the younger guys understand that it's a privilege to play here, especially for a coach like Chip. Very laid back, kind of lets us run the team and what he wants the culture to look like, which is awesome. But just allowing guys to realize that it's a privilege, and this is something that we should not take for granted, and just trying to enjoy it every day.
Chip is your, Kevin is your third pitching coach here, right? That you've had?
Yes.
You had Yeski and then Long. Okay. Mm-hmm. What has he done that is different for you, and to try to bring something out of you in this last year?
Yeah, I think all three of them have really good aspects to how they approach the game, but he's very analytical, which has helped a lot of us just kind of figure out how to use our arsenal specifically for us and how to attack hitters with that.
What has changed the most for you as far as your approach?
Understanding how my 4-seam moves. I'm a guy that uses that up in the zone, and I get a lot of whiffs doing that, and just understanding how to throw my slider off of that and how to set up hitters. So working up in the zone and throwing everything off that.
Is that the main reason that you have more strikeouts per inning this year than you've ever had before, do you think?
I think so. I think it's just helped me, like I said, just use my stuff better, set up hitters better, and then strike out guys more.
With the depth of this pitching staff, how has it been for you both playing a bunch of different roles and seeing the rest of your teammates play so many different roles out of the bullpen?
Yeah, I think it just goes to show how much depth we have in the pen, in the rotation. I mean, we have guys, I feel like, who aren't even throwing this year that would be in the weekend rotation at any other school. So it's pretty cool to see that, and we can pretty much put any guy in any role, and he's just going to thrive.
When you look going into these midweek type of games, ask Chip about this. Does that kind of help you as you guys move towards Pac-12s, move toward NCAA regionals, knowing that there will be a game 4 at some point where you're going to have a lot of guys play a lot of different roles?
Yeah, I think all games count as the same. I mean, you look back to last year when we beat UC Irvine. We weren't expecting that to help our RPI so much, but looking back in that, in hindsight, everything matters so much, and you got to play each game like it's a World Series.
When you look at this rotation 1 to 3, with Jackson and Clark and Cam, how have you evaluated what they've been able to do to lead this team?
I think it's really cool to see guys go so deep into games, and when they're handing it off to us in the bullpen, we usually have a lead, and hitters aren't very happy with how they've done so far. So that's always a good feeling when Chip hands us the ball. So very happy about that.
How would you define your role right now?
I think it's interesting. I think at our level, everybody tries to have a specific role, but at the end of the day, like you might need to close a game in the 7th inning when it's a harder their lineup. So we don't really look at roles specifically, but it's just like every inning is the 9th, and we got to get everybody out.
Well, a lot of times when they're pulling the starters, it's 6th inning. They give you the quality 6 and then straight to the bullpen. Even when they're not struggling at all. How much confidence does that give you guys as a pen, knowing that, Clark may not be out of gas, but they're handing you the ball anyway because they know you're going to shut it down?
Yeah, it gives me a bunch, just realizing that they trust me with that specific situation, and I think a lot of the guys can say the same. But like I said, it's just really nice going into the game knowing we have a good, strong lead, and they've thrown really well for, like you said, 6-7 innings.
How would you assess the bullpen's performance lately? I mean, there's the sort of the flip side of all these walk-offs is you're kind of setting up the walk-off, right, by not holding a lead. or whatever as a group? How would you kind of assess how the guys have done?
Yeah, I think some people from the outside see it as a negative thing, like we can't finish games, but when you realize that different teams play in different ways, like Washington State was a team that was going to sell out just to put the ball in play. So it's going to be harder to strike more hitters out that way. So our goal is to just get them out in the field. And they're not going to get a bunch of extra base hits like I believe on Sunday they had one and with 12 singles. So when you understand that, like they're just trying to put the ball in play, we're not going to strike a bunch of guys out, but we're trying to get hitters out and understand what their approach is going to be for that game, for that weekend.
So when they do that, it can fall sometimes.
Yes, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
To that end, I mean, I know your philosophy as a pitching staff has been 0-2, 1-2, or die trying.
Yeah.
When you get hitters in those counts, how confident are you guys to get those ground balls or get something on singles type hitters, get something hit to a fielder or get something hit directly at a guy?
Yeah, I think we think very highly of ourselves in those situations because we understand how our stuff moves, and we have a lot of confidence in being able to put guys away now that we know how our stuff works and throw in a pitch based on the prior one. So
What went into your decision to come back for another year?
I just love playing the game, and I think God wanted me to be here ultimately to help lead the team and be an example. As one of the older guys, I didn't really have that my freshman year, so I feel like he really put that on me to help lead some of the younger guys, and I think we got a really good thing going. And just understanding that, yeah, we can not only win a lot of games, but we can do something like host a regional, host a super regional, and go to Omaha and actually win it. So we have some pretty lofty goals, but I think you have to when you're aiming that high.
Sure. You tried to help Devin through this season with what she's had to face injury-wise.
Yeah, I think just helping her understand that injuries are just a part of our sport, and she's been blessed enough to play healthy so far. And she's also a leader on her team, so understanding that she has a role right now through that, and I think it's really helped her have peace of mind and be able to come back next year a lot stronger.
You have a chance to become the all-time leader in appearances here. Is that something that you think about, or that means anything? Would mean anything to you?
Didn't even know about it.
You're tied for fourth right now.
Okay, yeah. Gleese brought it up to me recently, and I had no idea. But I'm honored and very blessed to even be in that situation.
You guys would probably have to go on a pretty deep postseason run. So there's a connection between the two. There's a cause and effect there that could be, favorable.
Yeah, for sure.
The team and for you.
Mm-hmm. And whether that happens or not, like, all glory to God for even just putting me in this situation to be a part of a team like this. So just very thankful.
That was Devin Nats, one of the captains for your Arizona Wildcats. Again, pitching primarily in relief this year in situational opportunities for this pitching staff, but a leader nonetheless. And again, has an opportunity to become the all-time leader in appearances here at the University of Arizona. It'll be interesting to see if he can break that mark. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Let's get a break in here. When we come back, we're going to give you our Desert Diamond Casino replay. We'll let you hear from Roberto Miranda, one of the tight ends for the Arizona Wildcats football team, who had a pretty nice spring game on Saturday at Arizona Stadium. It's DK on the Sports Tip. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported: golf links in Aviation Parkway and golf links at the eastbound ramp, Grant Road east of Campbell, and also 22nd Street and Pantano. 58 the low, clear skies, 90 sunny tomorrow, and 90 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Dell Technologies and Intel are pushing what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to now.
Do you need your home repiped? Having trouble with your water heater? Leaking toilet? Have you ever thought about an instant recorded seweroscopy? Then call Economy Plumbing Service at 885-3510. Because if water goes through it or to it, we do it. Economy Plumbing, 885-3510.
Cummings Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, where we always give you a free estimate before we get started.
ROC number 113429.
Taylor Swift, the world's biggest pop artist. The Eras Tour, the tour that broke all the records. And you could be there. Win one of 3 trips to see Taylor Swift on the Eras Tour this fall, including round-trip air, 2 nights hotel, $500 spending cash, and 2 of the hottest tickets on the planet. Listen weekdays for the national text keywords for your chance to win.
And your text word is blank. Blank. Text blank to 95819 to see Taylor.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
Ready for a staycation? Hey guys, Taylor Swift here. We're ready. Are you? Keep listening for your chance to win one of 3 trips to see Taylor Swift on the Eras Tour this fall. Shake it out. You and your bestie with round-trip air, a hotel room for 2 nights, and 2 tickets to the hottest tour on the planet. I'm having a blast on my tour, and I want to fly you out to join me. Your next chance to text a nationwide keyword happens soon. Welcome to the Eras Tour.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290. And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, the spring game was this past weekend out at Arizona Stadium, and we had a chance to watch that. And wanted you to hear from Roberto Miranda, who talked after the spring game. He is in his senior season at the University of Arizona. Actually, he's a redshirt junior at Arizona. Tight end, last year played in 13 games, mostly on special teams. However, he did have 1 reception. He could have a whole lot more this season. And Roberto Miranda just talked about the wrap up to spring camp and the position he is right now to potentially be a starter for the Arizona Wildcats.
I feel like as a team, we got closer. A lot of moving pieces, a lot of new people on the team, and we just focused on kind of having like a good team culture, like a family feeling in the facility. And individually, I feel like I had to work on a lot of new pieces in my game, mainly running routes, but I definitely got more natural as we were going. So overall, I feel I have a good feeling about the spring. Yeah.
Team culture, what was the reason that you chose to come back to Arizona? What was the main reason, and how was training camp with the new staff?
Yeah, I never thought about leaving. I love Tucson, I love Arizona, and I still have a lot of teammates that I'm very close that decided to stay as well. So for me, it was never a choice to actually leave. And just Coach Atkins as a person, he's a great coach, football-wise, but also just as a human being. So being around him, I felt super comfortable from day one, right off the bat. So yeah, I'm still happy with my decision to stay, and yeah, I'm very, very happy overall. Yeah.
Roberto, how would you describe your experience in Tucson?
Kind of all over the place. I'm an old head on the team, as you guys know. I've been here since 2020, COVID year, freshman year. So just moving to the U.S. was kind of wild. Everything hit me at once. But overall, just amazing. Tucson is kind of like the opposite of where I'm from. The weather, the food, everything is different, but I'm still very happy that I committed back then, and I'm still finding out a bunch of new places, a bunch of new things every day. So, it's great out here. I love it. Yeah.
And then you're from Germany originally.
Yes, sir.
How would you describe life back home and what your childhood was like?
So definitely not football. Mainly playing soccer growing up. Just as I said, it's kind of the opposite. The weather is way different. The people are kind of more like private. They're not as open as like Americans out here. So everybody kind of stays to themselves. But I just had to adjust to it. And as I said, I like it a lot. Yeah.
You have a lot of family in Germany?
I have family all over the place. I always kind of say like I have family everywhere but the U.S. So Portugal, Great Britain, all the way in Africa, Angola. So yeah, I have a big family all over the place kind of.
What are the biggest differences and similarities between this offense and the one that you were in under Fish?
Tight end is getting a lot of love in this playbook, so that's probably for me the biggest difference. We got the rock, way more than last year. And what I like the most about this offense and kind of like the way we run practice, we rotate a lot, especially in the spring. It's a lot about development. It doesn't matter if you're 1, 2, or 3. No matter if you're on the field or in the meeting room, everybody gets questions. Everybody has to be locked in. And I think that's kind of like more the college approach compared to like the NFL approach last season, which I love. Everybody's getting a fair chance, and it's a lot about development and getting better overall.
Roberto, how does a soccer player in Germany start playing football?
It was kind of like a wild story. I was doing track and field back home in my high school, and I had a friend who just kind of asked me, like, hey, you want to join me? There's this crazy sport called American football, and there's like an open tryout. And I was like, you know what? Let me give it a chance. And I just fell in love with it, and I just stuck with it, and I like it. Yeah.
Did you start watching the game?
I kind of started watching it a lot on YouTube, kind of like college workouts, a lot of like just NFL highlights, hardest hits all year, kind of stuff like that, just all over the place. And I just, fell in love, as I said. Yeah.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
You know what I love about that, J-Dub? He says, my friend said there's this crazy sport called American football.
Yeah, some kind of crazy people over there across the water. They're playing some kind of weird football sport.
Yeah, exactly. And how about that? We've heard 2 stories tonight. We heard about Mitch Garver, who was a big-time soccer player and parlayed that into Major League Baseball. And we hear about Roberto Miranda, who obviously played soccer growing up in Germany, Berlin, Germany, and has parlayed that into an American football career. And it'll be interesting to see again. Now, we don't. It's always hard to really recognize what's happening in spring practice. So we weren't out. I was not out at a lot of the practices. I was at the spring game and one other practice. But again, he's a player who stood out in practice last fall, and so. But you had Tanner McLaughlin, and that was and that was a system with Jed Fish where they really weren't using a lot of double tight ends.
Yeah.
I think you'll see that more with this system with Brent Brennan and Matt Atkins, and so Roberto Miranda is a player who could be on the field a whole lot more for his redshirt junior year.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Brennan said it himself. He said they've had an all-league tight end every single year that they've had that staff together. How about the guy who was drafted in the NFL draft this past week who's never played a down in his entire life?
Yeah, I missed that.
Travis.
It seems
Travis
to happen
Clayton.
Every year.
Travis Clayton, he's obviously a rugby guy from England, something like 6'7", 300 pounds. So he fits the bill. But yeah, I love that when you have super physical guys from over there. Obviously, England famous for their rugby. So yeah, 23 apparently. he got drafted in the 7th round.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, you'll hear stories like that. I think once in a while, we've seen a few of those over the course of the years. Guys coming in and having a chance to that maybe they're playing another sport across the ocean and have a chance to come in here and play a little American football, because it is a crazy sport. It's a crazy sport, that American football, but it's one that we absolutely
so crazy
love. All right, J-Dub, we'll talk to you tomorrow. That's going to wrap up our show for tonight. We've got Arizona baseball coming up, Wildcats and Grand Canyon here from Hi Corbett Field with first pitch a little after 6. Brian Jeffries is straight ahead. Thanks to all of our guests today. We appreciate Ken Jacome for stopping by, Toby DeMello as well. For J.W. Madden and Cricket, my name is David Kelly. That is our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We'll talk to you Wednesday. Bear down, Arizona.
Again, sent beat story. Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said, "Maraca, senor," but his nose said, "Hey, fresh."